Like you invited me.
Hey, in her house. What? Hey, we can't start an episode with some civility. Like, damn.
I know, right? Hello, everybody. What's going on? We are back. We are back. We are back. It has been a minute. You know, life happens sometimes. You know, people got families, kids, birthdays, holidays. You know, graduations. Shit happens. But we are back to with the podcast that you all know and love called Really Bitch, and we are here to. This show is going to actually be a little serious because we kind of got some serious topics we want to talk about today. But
I know,
we're going
hold your breath, everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be a little serious, but we're going to still do it in our style. First of all, let me just get caught up with everybody. So it's been a minute. Mink, what's been going on with you what's been about maybe a month and a half since we've been able to hook up. So what's been going on with you?
I don't even know. I'm still alive.
I mean.
My oldest is home from completing halfway to second year of college. So,
woo, yes, all right, we halfway there.
Yes,
woo, we halfway there.
The youngest just had a step up ceremony. So officially, no more babies.
Right, he's in high school next year. I can't wait. He's so cute. Her baby's so cute.
All right.
So that's kind of it. Just trying to balance that whole, life of doing that and things like that. And I decided that 2019 and beyond is my year of yes. Now that don't mean come asking me for shit.
No, but I know what you're talking about. I actually we could do it together because I was going to do the year of yes last year and I sort of fell off. So let's do the year of yes together because there's actually a journal and everything. Because not Ava Lord, Scandal. Shonda Rhimes actually did a year of yes, and she wrote a book about it. Because she talked about when Scandal hit big and she sort of blew up, and she said she started getting all these invitations to different places and stuff like that. And she said that she kept saying no and kept declining, and she was insecure about her weight and just different things. And so I want to say she said she had a conversation with Oprah, but let me not lie yet because I don't remember. But I know Oprah's somewhere in this conversation. Oprah had something to do with it.
The Oprah effect came through.
The Oprah effect came through, but at some point, she was like, okay, I have to start, first of all, embracing what's happening to me. I've worked hard for this. I've built up, Scandal didn't happen overnight. It seemed like it to us, but she worked hard to get to where she was. And now she's reaping the rewards of it, where she's getting invited to these award shows and these parties, and she's being invited in the room. And that's when she lost the weight. That's when another thing was she was a single parent, so the guilt of not being there with your children, right? So she actually she wrote a book about it.
You still out this lady?
Exactly. So she wrote a book about it, and I actually got the book and the journal. So we'll talk, girl. I'll do it with you.
And I understand. I'm not a single parent. But I do understand that guilt as a parent of trying to find a balance of being who you are, being a spouse, being a parent,
and just keeping your own identity in it. Yeah.
So now I'm just like, y'all better figure that shit out. I mean, we got stuff planned as a family, but I still have stuff planned that I want to do. Like to do.
I can respect that. What about you, Face? How's things going?
It's great.
I can't.
You make me sick.
I can't.
Everything's good. The family is cool. I officially have a preteen.
Woo! Look at that. Look at God.
She turned 12. So I'm just looking forward to all the fights between her and her mama. They've already started.
They've already
started. It's already.
And you just sit in the back like.
When he talking about the fights between her and her mama, I'm looking for them her knockers knocking.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Baby girl home.
Right. That's how it's going down.
Me too. I'm looking forward to that too. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be the scene out of Bad Boys 2.
Yeah,
that's gonna be him and Don Juan Pablo.
Yeah. Oh, she's a cutie patootie.
Yes, she is.
But she's sweet, she's smart, and she's talented. So
very talented. Yes.
So
she DJing.
Her mom did a good job with her.
Her mama did a great job.
I'm about to leave. Both of y'all.
Because she's DJing and stuff now. You're teaching her, and she DJ'd her end of the year little party at school. I saw the pictures. I said, you better go ahead.
She did that.
I'm not even mad about it.
She did that. She got paid.
She did very good. She kept the people on the floor. She knew what to play for her crowd and all that. She was good at keeping kids on the floor.
Yeah, well, it's like a church thing, so she couldn't really cut loose.
Right.
To play that little gospel for a minute.
Right. Well, that's okay.
So,
you know, you can get some shout on to some gospel now. You can get it in.
Nah, she did.
Hey, Regina. Hey, come on in, y'all. Hey, Doran. How you doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Bring your friends. Bring your friends.
Well, she did her thing with that. She did 2 hours.
Oh,
She did her
nice.
2 hours.
Oh, well,
She did
that's
her whole-
nice.
she did her
I
whole
know that's
set.
right.
I let her, I took over for like 30 minutes so she can go ahead and actually socialize.
Enjoy and have a good
Or,
time.
you
Well,
know,
that's nice.
but,
I ain't mad at her at all. I ain't mad at her at all.
She got that value of how to earn it, how to
It
understand
is.
it, work
It
for it,
is.
do what you love. So
but I had to come up with a rate. She just wanted to play.
But that's what you would. But
Yeah,
that's
okay.
part of what you have to do to help her out and
That's
figure
okay.
it out.
You enjoy that, but look here.
Well, that's what you got to do to help her out.
Be
That's
her
your
damn
job, manager. Exactly, manager.
Right.
So you got to help her out with that.
Yeah, I'm also helping her out with your friends is cool and all, and have fun, but look here, you work it. So
But
don't
it's good that she's learning it now at 12. So when she actually do get out there into the workforce at 15, 16, she'll be so much further than her peers are because she won't be getting her first job at that point. You know what I'm saying?
And if she really sticks with the DJing, that's an entrepreneur type of thing.
Right.
She doesn't have to go out and do a 9 to 5.
Right.
She really, and I mean, she knows what she's doing, and she knows how to keep people on the floor, and knows how to float, transition and all that that a DJ knows how to do. She can set her own rates and set her own job and work, and that's something she can do all the way through college.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Like,
she is a kid, so it could
that's
just
what I'm
easily
saying.
be a phase. But
That's what I'm saying. I didn't really throw all that on her.
no, you should.
All I
You
know,
should. We're talking.
Yeah, what I'm teaching her now is basically, if you picked up, this is what you want to do. You got to do the whole thing.
Right. I can
Like,
respect that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I show up, you should be at the truck, pulling stuff out.
Right. Okay.
Getting it set up.
Getting it set up and all that. But that's, look, I ain't mad about it.
Breakdown,
But
all of that.
But you're right. She actually has something to take forward.
Yeah. I mean, because when I first got to college, I did nails. And I never went to nobody's nail school, but I knew how to do nails. I knew how to do acrylic and buff them down and paint them.
Really?
So I had my whole little caboodle, the little caboodle. I had my when I went to college, I had my little caboodle kit, and I didn't charge a lot because I wasn't professional. But I sure did. Especially don't let it be a party and come up or homecoming.
I know,
honey.
I know. When my first year,
but I only did it like my freshman year because it was just I didn't.
It gets to be a lot. Yeah. We had I had a girl who we had a lot of girls on my floor who did hair. One girl did braids, one girl did hair.
Mm-hmm.
Fire used to do my
Regina.
hair.
Let's see.
What Regina talking about? Hey, Regina.
Son got dirty tomorrow. Hopefully they don't pick them. She'll be here until she falls asleep. She got that shift tomorrow.
Oh, I ain't mad at you, girl. Well, thank you for coming through and come on in.
Thank you.
We getting ready to get started on our topic in a minute. We're just catching up.
Yeah, I had a girl Fire. She used to do this. I had hair. I had a lot of hair. If I used to do my hair, couldn't beat it. Nice little roller set.
Yeah, buddy.
Roller rock.
Yeah, I had friends. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So again, we're not putting that on her. I'm just saying that's a skill that if she decides to stick with it, hey, sky is the limit.
She does it cool.
Well, I am officially on summer break, honey. Okay. So all I did this week was sleep. When I say I slept, I slept. I was so lazy this week. I didn't do nothing.
She been bossing me around since I got here.
Well, whatever. I mean, that's what I do.
You know what? It's funny. I try to.
And it's my birthday week. Hey, we counting down in cancer season. It's cancer season. It's cancer season. Hey.
Oh, 11 to 7 tonight. Oh.
Hey. What happened?
Ooh, I don't miss that.
Oh, you got 11 to. Oh, you go doing the overnight.
She said, when your birthday?
July 2nd, boo. A week from tomorrow. Hey. No, my birthday's on Tuesday. A week from Tuesday. I'm tripping.
You know what?
Monday's July 1st. My bad. But I'm July the 2nd. So yeah, countdown to my birthday. And I love my birthday. So I will be talking about my birthday. I will be talking about my birthday until my birthday.
I had a conversation with somebody about birthday. So a topic about birthdays.
We'll get to the topic in a second. Go ahead.
About Christmas.
Like off topic. We're not on the topic right now.
I know. And how we put so much emphasis on Christmas and making sure, and we got all these stories and but when it comes down to people's birthday, it's kind of like, oh, happy birthday.
Not me.
Or where we going drinking at?
Yeah,
I celebrate.
Not necessarily you, but like saying, okay, so like, for example, you have parents who will go out here and spend
I do something for my birthday every year.
You have parents who spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars buying their kids Christmas gifts. But when a child's birthday come along, it's a couple cars, it's like one gift or whatever, a little bit of cake or whatever, and you kind of like shuffle along the day.
I wish. And not in my house. It was an event.
And for me personally, so my birthday is 3 weeks after Christmas.
When all these kids getting out of here?
I'd rather I tell my husband every year, you don't have to give anything for Christmas. And I'm dead serious. I don't really want anything for Christmas Christmas could miss me. I don't really care. But for my
But you want
birthday,
your birthday
treat
to
that
be-
shit like a fucking national
There
holiday
you
that
go.
it is.
I agree. Well, I treat and that's why I treat my birthday that way, because if I waited for somebody to do something for me, I feel like I would be disappointed. So I always plan my own birthday. Like at this point, the only way to really surprise me is to plan something around what I planned, because I'm going to always plan something for my birthday. Though. And it's funny because the one year that I didn't plan something for my birthday because I was sort of going through some stuff was the year that they surprised me. Did you go with us when we went to the drag brunch?
No, I unfortunately missed.
Yeah, so that was a surprise. I didn't know I was going. I wanted to go to the drag brunch, and basically my cousin was like, and it was funny because they were planning it behind my back, and they were like, well, how are we going to get her there? And Shelly was like, I'm going to tell her to be ready, and I'm picking her up at a certain time. And I was like, that's pretty much what happened. She was like, be ready, I'm picking you up at 10. Okay, I'll be ready. But I mean, and it was fun. It was something I wanted to do.
Yeah, she had to answer no questions. Why? What? Where we going? What we doing?
Not Shelly. No, not Shelly.
Oh,
no.
That's just the rest of us.
Now everybody don't get that, but
That's just
Shelly
the rest
get
of us humans.
Yeah, Shelly get the I'm be at your house and be ready. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's
Explain it to me.
I did not yell at you. I just wanted to understand what was going on. I did not yell
in front of all my friends.
I did not yell at him. Then they was about to put me out because he was practicing, and when I showed up, they said he started messing up. So they were like, "You trying to, show off for your friend? We about to put her out." I was like, "Damn, that's what we doing now." I came to support.
Right.
Put out.
That's what's funny. They were so serious.
Yeah, no,
they was dead serious.
They were dead.
They were dead serious.
They really were.
Just put y'all on notice.
Huh?
I'm gonna start celebrating my half birthday.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so my birthday is cold. I don't like the cold.
Oh.
So
okay.
I'm gonna start celebrating my birthday in July.
Okay.
And somebody told me, one of my good friends told me I couldn't do D. She was like, it don't work that way. So I was like, I'll celebrate July 16th. She said, it don't work that way. I said, you know what? My favorite uncle. She said, it don't work that way. My favorite uncle.
My bad.
His birthday is July 20. Well, was July 20. He passed away. He's not using it no more. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use that. So July birthday.
Did she say he's not using it anymore?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I ain't never heard that shit in my life. I have never. Oh my gosh. I have never heard that. I cannot with you. I've never heard that in my life. Gina, girl, you better keep celebrating your birthday because, again, if nobody else do it, you better do it for yourself, boo. Do it for yourself. And see, for me, I always do. It's always my 21st birthday again. And it's funny because when I send out the invitations, people are always like, I don't know nobody turned to 21. Who is this? And I'm like, bitch, you know it's me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about
you know it's me. Every year I'm turning 21 again.
Because I said, so for the day my birth certificate was printed.
You're young for a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Especially since it was my 20th year teaching.
I know. Smart. She was a smart toddler.
That's right. I came out, boom, getting it.
With a book in her hand. Frederick Douglass.
Frederick.
What's up, Monk Chip? Okay, so look, I'm glad we were able to laugh because we're getting ready to get into something that's a little serious. So the phenomenon that was the limited series on Netflix, When They See Us. So first of all,
go ahead.
First of all, I wanted to take a beat. I wanted to wait a minute. I didn't want to just jump on as soon as I saw it and go on YouTube or do a video about it. I really needed to give myself time to process. And I also kind of wanted to see how it would process through the news cycles and what people would say, which some interesting things have happened with this. And so I told the guys that I wanted to do this show to go ahead and watch it at their leisure. And that's the other thing too. I know that everybody may not have been able to take this in at one time. I know I needed to take a break and come back.
So I sure did.
Yeah. So I wanted everybody to watch it and I wanted to be able to have the conversation, but I also understood if people could not watch it. My personal opinion, and this is no offense to anyone. This is
she's been educated for 20 years. Absolutely.
What? Oh, I was like, what? This is no offense to anybody. This is no disrespect to anyone. But for me, I felt like I owed it to them to finish watching it because this was their story. And I feel like what the hell?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the comments up so I can
see. I'm trying to figure this out right here. Okay. I gotta figure something out.
Okay.
The iTunes stream is tripping.
Okay.
Anyway, I gotta figure out what's going on with that. But anyway, so for me, I just felt like we owe it to them to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as it is for us to watch, as hard as it is for us to sit through, I feel like I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. It's supposed to be anyway. We'll talk about that. I don't know why it's doing that. But as hard as it is for us to watch it, I feel like we owe it to the exonerated 5 to watch their story because they lived it.
Right.
So I had to take a break. Granted, I had to take a break. I had to come back. But I did finish it. I did watch the interview with Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, I just want to kind of, I guess, put it out there. Were you guys familiar with the story of the exonerated former Central Park 5? Were you familiar with their story prior to when they see us? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the documentary or did you just know their story like through news cycles and stuff like that?
I believe, I saw it was like a documentary.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Ken Burns it came on PBS.
I feel like I heard it like a while ago, so I may even heard it probably in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a topic of discussion maybe around us in school or whatever. Like it was like it wasn't a new thing. Like I knew what was up. I didn't know how deep it went.
Right.
But I was familiar. Yes.
I was familiar because I was 15 when it happened. And my uncle's birthday I'm taking. He always was he was an advocate news person. Like, he's the only person I know who read the paper from, front page to back page.
Mm-hmm.
He watched the news 2-3 times a day. So I just remember him having conversations about it. And I did watch a documentary a couple of years ago when it came on. And I'm not gonna lie, unfortunately, I kind of initially I got them confused. I got the Central Park 5, the storyline confused with the Jameson 6? Genesis 6. Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody was mentioning on one of my lives that they would love to see Ava do their story.
That would be
and
nice.
I would love to see their story done as well. But go ahead.
So I was a little reluctant about watching. I wanted to see it, but I was reluctant about when I was going to start watching it. Because I was at a place of I can't because like you said, we owe it to them to watch it.
Right.
But it was like just to keep going through over years and decades of what's been going on to us, our kids, our people. I had to find myself in the right mind frame to finally sit down and watch it.
Yeah, because I did the same thing. I remember as a kid hearing about it, but I didn't know all the details really until the documentary a few years ago. And just watching that documentary pissed me off. So I knew
it's one of those stories. It's like not knowing, like if you didn't know,
right,
hear anything about it before,
and
it's like for me because when I started, I just kind of I'm like, all right, because everybody's talking about it. It's one of those things like, all right, let me go ahead and watch it.
Right.
Like if you didn't know the time frame that this was happening, you'd have still been like, wait, this happened how long ago?
Right.
This is something that could have just happened
and that's
yesterday.
The sad part is that it is absolutely something that could happen yesterday. It is absolutely something that could happen yesterday. And probably has happened yesterday somewhere in this US of A. One of the other hashtags we're gonna get to is immigration, and we'll get to that. But again, it's along those same lines of who has rights, who doesn't have rights. And what pisses me off about what I like about the movie is for people who have an open mind, because again, if you go into it with a closed mind, then it doesn't matter what you see. But people with an open mind, I think the movie or the limited series, however you want to word it, I think it did a great job of explaining how the parents were manipulated through their ignorance, through their trusting the police,
the system,
trusting the system, and through their ignorance. And I don't mean ignorant in a bad way. I mean simply they just did not know. They just did not know.
That's the thing. That's which I had to coworkers, we were talking about it, and I'm like, there's a law that says ignorance of the law is no excuse, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And the police are allowed to lie. When they're in an interrogation, they're allowed to lie.
Only thing that matters is what you say.
Right.
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, I had that conversation with somebody, and they were mad because it's like the police are allowed to lie. I said, this is the thing. we can only imagine the type of people that the police run into in a daily interaction within the scope of their job. And people are lying to get out. People look at your face that I didn't do it, and they did do it. Hell, kids would do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine the type of criminal-minded people they run across.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but instead of being mad at the police for working within the scope of their job, be upset that that is a law that they're allowed to do, that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but also this is even more reason why we need to educate ourselves and our children
Absolutely.
on what you can and can't do, the reality of it. And I'm not gonna lie, watching episode 1, because I watched episode 1.
Because nobody got read their rights.
Right.
No.
They went straight to the investigation.
Right. I watched episode 1 about a week or so ago. And I had to take pause.
I hear you, Virginia.
I had to come back and then go back and watch it. I it's a true story. They just going by what happened.
But once you say that, hoping like that it would be a different ending.
Okay, so when the
you
mother,
just, like what happened, but you just hoping something.
When the mother walked in and she was like, where's my son at, and all this other stuff. They didn't let her see her son, and she was like, no, and she went and got her son. I wanted her to turn around to the other parents and just be like, they didn't read your kids your rights. Your kids aren't properly represented here. They're minors. Get your kids and take your kids home. And I have by no means stretch my imagination fault her for anything that was done to any of those children. You know what I mean?
I understand.
But I just like each one teach one. I just wish she would just turn around in that same fire. Like, y'all need to get y'all babies and go home.
I wonder.
I understand what you're saying, but I think in that moment, I think she
because remember they didn't even know each other. So because remember
Yusef,
remember in that scene, and I'm sure this was done for purposes of TV, but remember Yusef walked past Corey and didn't know Corey was even in there.
Right.
He thought Corey was gone.
Right.
So it wasn't even a situation where I feel like, and again, I'm just being honest about my observation. There's no disrespect to anybody, but I feel like there was a certain level with Yusef's mom that her son was above.
Mm-hmm.
My son goes to private school. My son is a prodigy. I've done this for my son. I'm not on welfare. I'm not. And I think there was a certain level of your son might be guilty, but my son is not. And I don't think that it was until I don't know what point it probably clicked for her, but in the beginning, her attitude was, I'm taking care of me and mine. Yeah. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think she meant any disrespect by it, but I think her thing was, I don't know those kids. Now, had the 5 of them been best friends, grew up together, and you know what I'm saying?
Constantly,
right. But they didn't know each other.
Right.
So, there was no reason for her to really go out. I don't even think she knew who else was involved.
Like you said, just sitting there watching it as a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know the outcome, but at that moment, you're just like hoping for something different.
Yeah, it was from the beginning. It didn't make sense. Like from the
word go.
From the word go. Like you're saying, you know what happened. But from the word go, and I'm watching it, like I usually watch everything. It's a movie, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
They said this woman, because the investigator, whatever the prosecutor, the white lady, like she said it herself, somebody, a person. There's his footprints, and they drug her from way over there, blah blah over here. And I'm like, the evidence don't even match up. Why are you looking?
And that's the thing. That's
the
thing, and that's what the guy. I'm sure you saw the Oprah Winfrey interview. The white guy that played the lawyer. That's what he said. He said,
Jackson.
"Thank you, Josh Jackson." That's what he said. He was like, "I'm sitting there, and I know the outcome, but in my mind, I'm like." Y'all didn't have just one chance to get it right. You had 2 because you went to trial twice. And he's like, I'm reading the script or I'm going to, and I kept waiting for somebody to say, you know what, this just doesn't make sense. We're going to drop this because it didn't, those boys were never, the timeline didn't even fit. Y'all just going to make the timeline.
The timeline didn't fit. The distance from where
the location didn't fit.
And the fact that the DNA did not match anybody. Like,
just what I'm saying, the initial walk-up. Which one of them little boys knocked her down and drug her all the way that far? Like, which one of them? Because none of them was swollen.
And they were not, you didn't see 5 different footprints. There weren't 5 different footprints there. Like,
she had so much. She had her rapist DNA under her nails. None of them had scratches, and so it's like it was nothing that could honestly put them there. But again, it's 1989. A white woman was attacked. So by any means necessary.
Oh, they gonna solve that. And in Central Park, and she was a Wall Street, like she was rich white woman.
Yeah, she had promise about her. She had a future about herself. So they was gonna find somebody.
Anybody.
Right. So Jonathan's question, he said, trying to figure out how they came up with this being more than one person accused. So what happened was, because he said he hadn't watched it yet. He's like, I don't even know if I can. And I respect that.
Take it in parts.
Definitely take it in parts. I respect that. So what happened was there was melee in the park that night. There were a bunch of kids doing what they called wilding, where they were robbing people, they were beating people up. So shit was going down in the park. And those boys were in the park, okay? And at this point, we don't know whether they were part of the wilding of not. According to them, according to them, they weren't. But at this point, I wouldn't admit shit anyway, if they were or weren't. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is though, so the way how they got to those boys, you really would have to see the movie and see how it broke down. But they were able to figure out that those boys were in the bar. They had a list because they had arrested a bunch of kids.
It's like 25 kids or something they were holding them.
Right. A couple of those kids a couple of the guys were picked up. Yusef wasn't one, but somehow his name was on the list. Corey ain't had nothing to do with it.
Somebody said he was there.
Yeah, somebody said Yusef was. Yeah, I was there. Antron. Antron said that Yusef was there.
And they went to Yusef's house and got him up.
They went pick Yusef up on the street. Corey was his friend who was like, Corey was sort of streetwise. He knew Yusef was a square. He was like, I'll go with him because I know he don't really know how to handle the police, which neither one of y'all knew how to handle the police. Right. But neither here nor there. That was his mindset. He's my friend. And the rest of the kids just happened to be in the park, and their name came up.
Yeah, because your mom would be tripping if I leave you.
Right, your mom would be tripping if she knew I'd let you go by yourself. And so at the end of the day, how their names came up was really random. It could have been any of those. They picked up something like 30 kids. Why they let the other 25 kids go? It's a variety of things, but it could have been any. They were looking for somebody.
They were the five.
They were just looking exactly.
I was gonna say they were young. Their parents weren't there.
Matter of fact, they were happy that one boy's mother left.
Right, and she was sick. She left.
He was like, "Oh, like is it snowing outside?
Right,
it's like Christmas."
Exactly, and then
he's the smallest one.
Exactly,
and he's younger than everybody.
And you know what I found interesting in the movie, and I kind of wish that Oprah had asked this. I mean, it's my question, so I'm sure it wasn't important. But one of the things that
don't be like that about yourself. Don't be like that. You're in question.
One of the things that came up. Thank you, Boo. One of the things that came up in the confession, during that whole confession piece of it, was Raymond and the scratch under his eye. And during the confession, they were trying to make it seem like he got the scratch under his eye from the woman trying to defend herself. Mind you, there was still no DNA under her nails, but that's another conversation.
Well, the DNA didn't match then.
Yeah. It wasn't under her nails though, was it?
She had
okay, I take that back. It didn't match. Okay. But come to find out, he got that scratch under his eye from the police beating him up. Yeah. So, but he was too, hey Big Daddy, he was too afraid, of course, to say, yo, the police beat me up. So the whole time, the other thing that got me
that night, he was they swole him.
Yeah, he was terrible. But if you even see the actual confession tapes, you see his eyes swollen and you see the scratch in the real confession. So that really, but when I saw the documentary, and they kept asking him, even in his confession, they kept asking him, what happened to your eye? And he didn't want to say. Well, now I understand why he didn't want to say. The damn police beat him up. What are you going to say? Your people beat me up? Like, but looking at the confession tapes, even before the movie, when I saw, I don't know about y'all, but I was looking at the confession tapes and was like, they lying. Like, first of all, they couldn't identify the clothing she had on. When Corey said what clothing she had on, the color, it didn't match. He said she had on black, she had on white, whatever. So number one, didn't match. And then each one had a totally different story about how the rape went down. Yeah. So my thing is, looking at the confession tapes, they don't look like that. And you can hear the police coaxing them on. No, Corey, it wasn't Antron, it was Raymond. Remember? Oh, yeah. It was Raymond. Right. It was Raymond. And I'm thinking to myself, again, you're the fucking adult in the room. You're the adult in the room. I can look at these tapes 20 years later and say, this is not, no.
Well,
everybody wanted their 15 minutes.
And that was the thing. If you look back,
what's his name?
Giuliani was kind of starting up. And he's in the episode, his presence in episode 1. He had said something to the fact, like, we got to get them. Let's make this stick. So everybody was kind of.
It was what Koch was mayor.
Mm-hmm. But no, Giuliani was like assistant DA or
that's right. He was. No, you're right. He was. You're right.
But when they got kind of when the adults
got together, about mayor.
No, he wasn't. No, and they were trying to like basically by any means necessary, they were going to stick this on these boys.
Whichever one of them they could.
Right, and like you're saying, Face, it was a pivotal moment in those children's lives. They were children, and it was a pivotal moment in these adults in their careers. And they were, while the boys are fighting for their lives, these adults are fighting for their careers.
I'm gonna get that promotion.
Right. Which brings me. Okay, so that brings me to my next topic. Some of the fallout from this great. I mean, I don't have no complaints of it. Miss Linda Feinstein, who was the head of the Special Victims Unit, a Law and Order. She was that person. And we see her in the movie being very
this popped in my head.
Right. So we see in the movie how she was very gung ho, for lack of a better word. So some of the repercussions to Miss Feinstein is that she's had to step down from I know, right? Wah. But she's had to step down from a lot of the boards that she was on, right? Save her money. But what I found interesting was a spokesperson from one of the boards that she was on said her appointment to the board was controversial because of her connection to this case, because it was a very liberal organization. She got dropped from her publisher because she became a very popular fiction writer. But her books were based on her stories as working for the police. I mean, being a police officer, whatever the fuck she did. Some of the things, thank you. Some of the things that are coming up now is that they want to open up all of her cases and examine them. Do you think that's valid?
Hell to the yeah. Yes, open that shit. But you know what? I volunteer tribute. Give me a red pen.
And we gonna hashtag that.
Right. Volunteer tribute.
Yes. Kind of off topic, like the judge who was arrested recently because he was selling black and brown boys.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Private prison.
And they were going back through all his cases that he, presided over and started going through. Well, I'm sorry,
Big Daddy.
When you find discrepancy in one, there's a chance there's a discrepancy in all.
And that's true. And especially, I mean, again, I know it was a movie, so I know things were done. And the other thing I give Ava credit for is Ava gave all of them an opportunity to be a part of it. Yeah, so she didn't just take the boys' side of the story. Research. She did reach out to Linda, but she said that Linda wanted final editorial approval. And Ava was like, that ain't happening. Like, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell your story, and I will include your version. I mean, your story, what you have to say, but you don't have final nothing up in this piece. That's not
because we see how your final decisions turn out.
Did you notice that these teenage boys, they were automatically adults?
Yeah. Well, they said that a study was done when I worked at the jail. When I worked at the jail, a study was done, and they said that the average person, when they see a black male, they automatically, their mind adds like 2-3 years to their age. So if they're 16, then to the average person, they look 19. But for white boys, they only add like a year. So there's automatically that, especially if you're tall, don't let you be a tall black boy, or a big, a husky black boy. So it's automatic. We have this embedded, we have this embedded bias that we don't even know we have.
Because I have two of my nephews,
and somehow we still age better than everybody. I know, amazing how that works.
I have one nephew. He's, I don't know, forgive me, one of my babies. He's 19. He's 19. And he's every bit of 6.
Yeah, we live, little baby. We live.
He's every bit of 6'2", somewhere around there. He plays football, so he had a bit of 200 and something.
Yeah, so he looked 20.
And he's always, that's my baby. But I would hate to think to him. I have another nephew. He's 19, and he just turned 19. He's every bit about 6'4". He's been 6 something since he's about 14, 15 years old.
Right.
So So I understand the whole thought.
I wonder what 6 feet feel like.
I would love to know. But I understand the thought of how we try to keep our babies.
Hey, Quintessential, how you doing?
We gotta keep our babies as babies. My son, he's 13. He looked about 9.
Yeah, but so your baby got the opposite.
Yeah,
but I'd rather him have the opposite.
But I hear what you're saying. Like I treat my daughters at their age when we're out, like you know what I mean? Because you got tendency, well, you know this and blah 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 and all that. I'm like, yeah. My answer is always they're kids. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
because I want them to be I want to be responsible, young ladies and all of that. But I still want them to be kids because that's what they are right now.
I love to see kids being kids. You know what I'm saying? That's I love to see kids being kids, doing shit that kids do. I hate to see, when they want to be grown or do stuff. It's like we got plenty of time for that.
Like she getting on my nerves. I'm like, that's their job.
That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
She's not killing you.
So the other one, the other one is hey Ebony girl. The other one is I forget her name, but the one who actually was the prosecutor had bad perm.
Yeah, curly wig.
That bad perm. But if you saw pictures of the real, that's what she looked like. She actually had to step down. She was a law professor at Columbia. Yeah. And the black students put so much pressure and protested that she had to resign. So there are some repercussions. Now, again, it doesn't do anything to bring back what happened to these young men. They lost that especially Corey, who, if you watch that and you watch his episode, I
ain't even gonna lie. I was about to cry, and they weren't even thug tears. They were real tears. I was like, what in the entire Corey Wise? That's his name. Yep. Corey Wise. He was
the only one that went to adult jail.
He's the only one with it. And they said that at 16, they sent this baby to Rikers. Fucking 16 years old, they sent him to Rikers. And from the time he got arrested, from the time he got released, 16 years old, he was never released.
Because Yusef and Antron made bail.
Yes.
And Kevin didn't Kevin make bail too? Did Kevin ever make bail? The youngest Kevin. I don't know if Kevin made bail. I don't remember, but I know Yusef and Antron did.
But he never made that. So from the time they first pulled him off the streets to the time 16 years later, his last day, he never saw the outside. He never breathed clean air. So, and then the shit that he's episode 4.
They stabbed him. They almost killed him.
Yeah,
he was beaten up, and
multiple times.
They didn't come right out and say it, but they insinuated he was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And remember, he went to jail as a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Right. So the Nazis was after him. Yeah. Anybody, because the white supremacists went after him. Anybody, the guards
went out on his side.
The guards believed that because they believed he was guilty.
And I would love to have them, the Officer Richardson that's in him. I would love to see if that really was a real. I wanted them to talk about that.
That's the thing. In the interview, I wish they had kind of dug a little bit deeper because I'm the same way. I would like to know, was Officer Richardson a real person or was he a compilation of guards who were nice to him?
Yes.
Because.
And when they called him in, his sister, he lost somebody. And
because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused when they were flashing back to. But then when they told the story, I said, his sister was transgender. Okay,
Chris. So it's like
16 going on 12.
Yeah. But no, even in the after interview,
hey Chris,
when he's on the stage with the other 4 and he's talking, you can see there's some type of break for him as far as his comprehension and things like that.
Well, you can see that in his. Again, you can see that even in his confession video. You can see his speech impediment is because he had some hearing loss. So that's part of his speech impediment. Okay. But also he has a learning disability, which that's part of the reason why he wasn't going to school. He couldn't read, so he did have other issues outside of this. And that's what I'm saying. Out of all of the boys, he was the last one that needed to go to Rikers. I mean, because you're right. He was 16 in age, but mentally he was probably younger than all of them. And you're right. You see him now, even in pictures where you see them together and they'll have on suits and he'll just have on like a t-shirt and some shorts. Like even that mindset of and I saw a tweet from Ava yesterday or the day before yesterday where she was tweeting about Corey. And she was saying how people, when he's walking around Harlem, how people just walk up to him and he takes pictures with them. And she said she asked him, does that bother him? And he was like, no. He said, because they sharing their love. And I appreciate it. But the way she worded it makes me think, is that what he does all day? Just walk around Harlem?
Well, when I look
and I'm not saying that to be mean or rude or cruel. I'm just saying, is that what he does?
When I looked him up, because I wanted to see, because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't familiar with his particular story, like them as a whole, but individually, I didn't know what
I
happened.
knew he went to adult jail, but I guess in my mind, until I saw it, I didn't.
Well, I was wondering where he was today because
they walked him right into that convention.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I was wondering where he was because I'm not gonna lie, I would have been done. I don't even know this man from a can of paint, but I would have been done.
Yeah,
because I didn't think he was gonna make it.
Like, but when he got stabbed, I said, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I was like, I'm still like, I had to look. I was like, did any of them die? So it forced me to look him up. And from what I looked up, it said that he is he does speeches. Like he goes around, he speaks to people and things. He's like an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he tried to reach out. You know,
and, he gave some of his money. He made a donation to a cause for victims' rights.
And he started a foundation. He started a Corey Wise Foundation.
Yeah, and what I will say is I feel like there are good people around him that are protecting him and not allowing him to be exploited. But it is clear, you can see him. Like even in that interview they did with Oprah, when Oprah was talking to him, you could just see it was a different.
What's for Al Sharpton?
What about Al Sharpton?
They said that Urban Frugal said that Corey works for Al Sharpton too.
He does work. That's right. He does. He does work for Al Sharpton. He does work for Al Sharpton. I read that somewhere as well too.
Well, you know what? When I watched the first episode, and I think it was his name Antron.
Oh, now that's who my heart broke for in that interview.
No, when his sister that came in.
That was Corey's sister. I mean, not Corey, Kevin, the youngest one.
Okay, so when Kevin's sister came in, and they was like, okay, first of all, and again, they took advantage of these children. When they were like, if he get him to sign a confession,
and he can go home, and she didn't want to sign it,
right? And but the pain.
I mean, that you heard that voice, like, please, I want to go home. Like,
yes,
please.
And I had to have a conversation with my daughter, and I was like, let me tell you something. I said, if something ever happened, Lord forbid, in Creek Drive, I'm like, your dad and I aren't home, and you're watching your brother. You're home to be going for your brother, and something like this was to happen to him. I said, what you need to do, first and foremost, I said, you are his sister, no more, no less. I said, at that moment, you are his babysitter. You cannot sign away any of his rights. I said, I
don't even understand how this shit held up. Like some of this stuff, I don't understand how it even held up.
I tell my kids 2 words: parents and lawyers.
Yeah.
I said, and call your parents first. I said, if we got to walk, your father and I will fucking be there. And it breaks my heart because again, like we're saying, they truly took advantage of these kids, of their parents, of everything. Not only that they knew, but that they didn't know, to make this case. And then she signed away. And you're right, Classic. How does that handle and how does that hold up in court that his sister signed for him?
And she was not his legal guardian. His mother was alive. His mother just was sick and couldn't be there. Well, it's like the same thing they did with Raymond, where his father had to go to work, but the grandmother who didn't speak English and then had her leave the room. Like again,
right out of there.
Again, I just have to say, I don't understand how this shit even held up.
But then everything they said in Spanish was nice.
Right.
When they were threatening him in English.
Right.
But they said it with a smile. So she thought everything was good and everything was going on. Mm-hmm. And then, I remember later on the dinner, she kind of blamed herself. I'm like, you were taken advantage of. Everybody involved was taken advantage of. You know what? And I like that during the interview when Oprah asked the 5, did you blame the DA, the prosecutor? And
hell yeah.
Yeah, Raymond was like, hell yeah.
Because again, it did not line up. And at any point in time, you could have said, okay, it just doesn't work. And you saw there was a scene, and I think Ava was giving her the benefit of the doubt because you saw a scene where she did sort of go to Linda Feinstein and say, look, this doesn't, like, are you sure? Like, this doesn't really, and Linda Feinstein was like, well, you're too far now. We're too far now. We done charged them. We done it. You just got to stick to the story. And so, again, I think she was giving them the benefit of the doubt that the conversation happened because I don't know if it ever really did, but it was like, okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I say all that to say, so, okay, so with that being said,
how did 5 strangers
end up linked for life? Here's my other statement. And this is why and that's why I say if you have an open mind, because if you go into this, if you go into this thinking what you're thinking, then it really doesn't matter what you see on your screen. But if you go into this with an open mind, how do you walk away and still say these boys, if at the very least have the benefit of the doubt? At the very least, you have the benefit of it. You just have some. And so I say that to say the Central Park jogger still believes that they're guilty.
Really?
Yeah.
She thinks that she accepts the fact, right?
She doesn't remember a damn thing,
right? But now she accepts the fact that the guy whose DNA matched, but she believes that he didn't do it by himself. Now, This is what I'm going to say.
Because she's so gangster. She fought off 6 people.
Right. So this is what I'm going to say. Because he hit her upside the head with a damn rock. At that point, it didn't matter. Like, dude, really?
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to say about that. This is my 2 cents. I thought about that. Because in my mind, I was like, how the fuck she still won't think? This is what I feel. For her to accept that those boys are innocent, it's not about those boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's about her having to accept that the police aren't who she thought they were. That they lied, that they were not. Because again, in her world, the police are Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
See, for us, we would never question. We were like, oh yeah, the police lie all the time. Oh yeah, the police would do that. Oh yeah, the police are guilty. So in our world, we know what the police can do. But see, in her world, the police don't do anything wrong. So I don't even think it's so much that she believes that these boys are guilty, as so much as she can't wrap her brain around the police, the prosecutors, all these people would lie and all these people will perpetrate this. Because like you said, she don't remember shit. So she don't know.
She admitted that. I don't remember anything about that night.
Right, she doesn't. The last thing she remembers is leaving her damn apartment. She don't remember nothing.
Right. But you know what? Now, I will say this. I would like to know where is Reyes.
It's only let me do it 15 minutes. Isn't he in jail?
I mean, okay, so my thing is he still alive?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Is he alive?
I don't know.
Well, I know New York doesn't have the death penalty, so they didn't put him to death.
Prison law, prison rules. Is he still alive? Like, did he get shanked in prison? Like, where is Reyes? Because mind you, when Reyes confessed, I'll say this. In episode 4, when Reyes and Corey get into a fight into the TV room, it didn't even register me at that time that was the same Reyes. And it wasn't until years later they wound up at the same prison again and then Reyes decided to confess. I was like, oh damn! So y'all had crossed paths, at that moment. But I would like to know with Reyes. I know in the docu series they portrayed him as he had found a new connection with Christianity or whatever.
Right.
He decided to be a better person. But I'm wondering, during that time when he was watching the trial, I would like to sit back and interview him. What was going through your head? And then at all these years that had went past from 1989 to 2002 before you decide to confess, what you exactly to that point to say, let me now tell the story.
And the reality is, had he never got a conscience, those boys would still be Corey. I mean, I don't know if Corey would still be locked up at this point. I mean, in 2020, but they would still be guilty. They would still be sex offenders. They would still have to register as sex offenders. Their life would still be that. Had this guy, because again, the police never looked for him. And again, and I'm gonna tell you what, if I'm the family member of that woman he killed, the pregnant woman he killed, if I'm filing a lawsuit against the state of New York for some shit. I don't know. I'll find a lawyer to find something. Because had they done their job and had actually went after that DNA and tried to, because his DNA was in the system. DNA was in the system. Because she died after the fact, and he did a couple other things after that.
But you know what? There's a police officer who came out and stated, and I think they did touch on the docuseries, that he believed it was somebody else, and somebody had said like a little bit after there was another.
Corey was the only one still in jail when he came forward.
But well, what I'm saying is,
no, I was just answering the question.
Oh, okay. But that basically it was somebody was saying it was somebody, and keep looking and keep digging, and they were like, no, we have these 5. They fit. They're good.
Right. Yeah, they didn't.
We're gonna keep pushing.
Right.
But there was, I won't say that's right evidence, but there was probable cause for them to continue to look, and they just did not want to.
Right. They just it was the low hanging fruit. It was like, okay, they fell into our laps, and we're just gonna make it work.
You're supposed to explore every lead.
And I feel sorry for Raymond.
That's what they tell us on TV. Because I watch these shows,
right? Because everything on the show is right.
Because in a documentary that came out a few years ago, so Raymond's sentence of the Central Park incident was expunged and removed.
Right.
But remember, he went back to jail for drugs. Yeah. He at the time that documentary came out, they were trying to get that one removed. Right. They say because he went to jail for selling drugs because of his Central Park 5 conviction, he couldn't find a job. Right. Had he never been wrongly convicted in 89, he would have a problem finding a job.
Hey, I'm cool with that argument. Makes sense to me.
And they were trying to get that sentence as well.
Makes sense to me. I'm cool with that argument. Yeah. I'm cool with it. So yeah, again, I wanted us to have the conversation because I do feel like it needs to be had. I know it's kind of been done. It's been in the news cycle. But then when you have assholes like Donald Trump who is still like, well, they guilty. They said they did it. I'm like, bitch, like, you lie all day, every day. So, I mean.
And that's the thing. It's funny to come back and watch his interviews from back then and see the full page.
And I'm so glad that Ava gave it to him in that movie. Didn't she give it to him?
And you know what pissed me off was during that time, you take out this full page ad saying bring back the death penalty, they're guilty, whatever, whatever. And then in 2002, when it all came forward, they didn't do it. It was not them. They put a damn ad in the back of the sports section or something, an eradication piece to say, oh, the young boys known as the Central Park Five
have been exonerated.
And that was all.
Well, I mean, that's what they do all the time. When newspapers have to print retractions, they never print it on the front page.
Right.
They never print it on the front page.
And that's for black kids. Come on now.
I know. And the thing is,
that should have been the front page.
And the thing is, what I want to do is, hold on, y'all, real quick, because we're gonna change subjects in a second.
Right. Yeah, you're right, Jamil. He added more time when he went back to the drug charge because he had a previous. You know what pissed me off? I ain't gonna lie. Who was? I can't remember which one it was. One of them had got out. I think it was Raymond. He was trying to find a job, and his PO was sitting there like, well, you have to check the box to say you're a felon because dude over there frying a chicken, he a felon too, and y'all can't be on the same shift together.
Right. Oh my God. I never thought about shit like that.
But then he was like, well, what happens if this happens? Or my boss won't change it. He was like, did you find another job? Really, bitch? You really think this young man who just got out of jail for violently raping somebody, who's a registered sex offender, can easily just walk in? He got to pick a damn job. So for you to be so careless and callous as his PO.
Hey, Will. No, you got a few minutes? Okay, so I'm going to put you on speaker in a second.
I know that was.
So I have on the phone. Oh, do I have him on the phone? Oh, what happened? Hello? Oh, okay, there you go. My phone be tripping. Will, you there?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, yes.
Hi, Will.
Hey, Will. All right.
Okay.
Oh, damn, we did not put the microphone on today. Yeah, I guess y'all can hear us pretty good. So I think the microphone is in that basket right there. Okay, so who I have on the phone is I have my friend on the phone, Will Jones.
Exactly.
If you saw our February episodes, he wrote the book about the Black superheroes, and we had a conversation with him. So we were, that's what you told me to look for, isn't it? Woo. So
I'm not doing my job.
I invited him to come and talk to us today. He wasn't able to make it, but he said he would call in reference to.
Our first call.
I know, right? In reference to living in New York during this time. We're actually having the conversation now, Will. So actually living in New York. Now, when I spoke to you a few weeks back, you had not looked at When They See Us. Have you still not watched it?
I still haven't.
Or do you plan to watch it?
No.
Okay. And I respect that. No. I respect that. And the reason why I say that is because I want you to talk about your experience living in New York, in that being in the same age group as these young men, and how, really, how did that affect? So I want you to talk.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I say I haven't seen it, don't plan on seeing it, I don't mean it to say that it's not an important film. It's not something that people shouldn't see. I would encourage everyone that is unfamiliar with that story, looking for additional information, to check it out. But for myself, the reason why it's problematic is because I still have very vivid memories of that time period and what it was like to be in New York at that time. So, for example, when it happened, one of the things that struck me growing up was just the whole entire way of just being a black male at that time became criminalized. And I know it's always been the case, but it was so clear to me at that time that I actually had experiences which stemmed from that. So, for example, I had a school teacher, and I never forgot this, who said that my neighborhood was full of animals.
Wow.
And because he said that he parked in my neighborhood, the animals there would rob him. And I remember I called him a liar because I saw him park in my neighborhood every day.
Right.
Another thing that I remember was, I don't know if the film covered it, but they asked the young men what they were doing. Hold on 1 second. They asked the young men what they were doing, and they said they were just wilding. And that was an expression that was really harmless.
Wilding out, right? Like that was slang, and they took it and they turned it into something
animalistic.
Yeah.
Right. So they called it a wilding attack.
Right.
And if anyone is familiar with the expression of your kind, you could have been doing anything. You could have been laying in bed and just been wilding. It was like whatever you were doing at that moment.
Right. It was slang. Like, what you doing, man? Man, I'm wilding.
Right. So it was those kind of things that struck me. And also, I followed the story very closely. I was pretty young at the time. And it was a newspaper called the City Sun that really provided the Black community with all the insight into what was going on with the case. They were the first ones to actually give the name of the jogger. Because once again, I don't know if the film covered or didn't cover. They did not give her name. They gave the names of the young men.
Right, and I remember that they gave their names even though they weren't supposed to because they were juveniles.
Exactly. Which actually led to one of the young men's younger brother, who was like in kindergarten, elementary school, was actually attacked by his school teacher.
Wow.
Physically attacked.
Well, they didn't cover that in the movie. They ain't talk about that.
Because the teacher found out that the older brother was one of the guys that was up for the charge.
Wow.
So by releasing these young men's names, they damaged their lives, from the gate. Whether or not they would be found innocent or guilty, of course, they were found guilty for a time.
Because Antron, he changed his name and moved to Maryland.
Yeah.
Right.
And now he's in Georgia.
Yeah.
So I remember that the City Sun went and found out the jogger's name. Because it was only fair if you're going to, release these young men's names, then we should know who this woman is, even though she never said they did it.
Right. Well, she can't remember.
Right. She was struck in the head. But to go back to your point of just being in New York at that time, you could feel it. Like wherever you went, outside of your own community, you just really felt criminalized. And to see yourself being attacked on the news, we're talking about the age of the super predator comment and all that other nonsense.
Yes.
From the highest office in the land to the local offices, constantly just hearing this behavior that you were doing, the way that you look, the way that you dress, the language that you spoke, to have every essence of your being be criminalized like that, that was truly impactful for me. I can't speak for any other young man growing up in New York at the time, but it was something that always stuck with me. A few years ago, they actually did a documentary on those men.
Right, we talked about that, Ken Burns.
So once again, that too difficult for me to follow because, like I said, I lived through it, but I encourage any and everybody, that's unfamiliar with it or whatever, to check it out. And the other thing that gets me is, you just get tired of seeing the same thing happen. That's Scottsboro Boys all over again.
Oh my gosh, we talked about that.
Era.
I talked about that in another conversation with some other people that I would love to see. And of course, at this point, I trust Ava. So I would love to see Ava even do that story, do the Scottsboro Boys, do the Jenna Six. Like, let's keep putting it out there. Let's keep reminding people that these are not isolated events. And these, and that was one thing I said earlier, the Central Park jogger, because there's still some unidentified DNA, she feels like these boys could still be guilty. Now, what I say is, I think part of that is because in her world, the police are Superman. The police don't do so. For her to accept that these boys are innocent, she would have to accept that the police, the DA, that all these people did something that in her mind is so oh my God, I just can't believe they would do this. But to us, we know that shit happens every day.
Exactly.
So absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Anybody that doesn't know the story, the Scottsboro Boys, please go and research that and check it out. Even I always like to remind people, even Rosa Parks' connection to the Scottsboro Boys, she was more than just somebody who sat on the bus, but that's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation. Right. So, but yeah, no, I really wanted to get your insight. So I'm glad you could call in because you were somebody who lived it. You were in New York during this time. You were in the same age bracket as these young men. And so I know so when you told me you didn't see it, I totally understand. Another friend of mine who I invited to come on the show, he's sick. He wasn't able to make it, but the same thing. He grew up in New York and he's in our age group. So his thing was, nah, I don't know if I can sit through it because I lived it. And so I knew you guys had a different viewpoint. And so I'm glad you were able to call in to just kind of share it. I don't know if there's anything else that necessary. Like, do you remember the protests? The different, like how that broke down as well?
Yeah, so what began to happen was, everyone talks about Reverend Al Sharpton.
Right.
And his role as far as fighting for these young men. But what they leave out most often is he actually had two lawyers with him. Alton Maddox and C. Vernon Mason.
Okay.
And it was the lawyers really that was, doing the legal stuff. Sharpton is there. He's the
mouthpiece, right?
Right. But what people leave out is that actual legal piece. And it was, their brilliant defense for these young men to no avail, apparently. But it was them that was bringing out all this thing of multiple DNA evidence.
Right.
The idea that she never identified these guys. And also keep in mind, these guys got picked up. They tried to attach every crime in the area.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah.
They were not picked up for attacking her.
No, they just happened. Right. We talked about that. Like they just happened to be some guys because they had picked up like 20-something kids that night. And
exactly.
and a couple of the exonerated 5 were in that group. Some were not, but a couple of them were in that group, and they just kind of went from there.
Exactly. And the guy that I got to know later in life was actually supposed to have hung out with those guys that night. And he had simply said, man, I'll go ahead, I'll catch up with y'all later kind of thing. So that, to his toes, it was lucky for him.
Right.
He simply wasn't there.
Right.
So it was just this idea of this ongoing thing of, once again, this was the time they write Super Predator. Around this time period, once again, folks recall they're from New York. They were actually talking about experimenting on Black youth to figure out what made us so violent. This is, and this is not conspiracy theory, whatever. This is documented. They were actually looking at and discussing, possibly trying to figure out what quote unquote made us so violent. So this was attached to a bigger thing that was going on in New York at the time, because of course, as you well know, we're always vilified. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about, the 80s. Where it's like, it was really amplified because every other summer or every summer there was some incident around the issue of race.
1989, a summer.
Exactly. So there's this long history of things that were going on before and after that.
As soon as we can walk,
we're adults. Set the stage.
Exactly. And that's like you say, like you just said, as soon as we can walk, we're adults. And so it's a whole different, it's a whole different mindset. Yeah, because again, they did cover that in the movie. They covered the protests on both sides. And how, death threats were being made on both sides. And the one thing I liked about the movie was how it really did explore how it affected the family of these young men. And it sort of gave she did a good job of giving each person their story.
Yeah.
She gave Corey the most time, but of course, Corey was the only one that went to adult jail. And so his story
served the most time.
Served the most time. And so he got really a whole episode to himself. But I felt like she did a really good job of even digging into the parents and their struggles,
she clearly did all the research.
Right. They talked to the people that were still alive. They talked to a lot of them, with Corey's mom, even the fact that Corey's mom, part of her reluctance to deal with the police is because she was a drug dealer.
Right.
So when he got picked up, she didn't even want to go to the police station because, she was selling drugs. And it was just like, okay,
walk right into the belly of the beast.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So everybody had their story to tell and their reasoning on how to, and like I said, I think she did a really good job. Again, if you go into it with the open mind, I think she did a really good job of explaining how the kids and the adults were manipulated and how easily, people always say, well, they confess. But when you see how it really broke down, again, if you have an open mind, then you say to yourself, well, damn, I see it.
You held 5 children for 18 and a half hours, no food, no water, no bathroom breaks, no connection, no nothing, no representation, nothing.
That's why I still don't understand how this shit held up. That's
what were you expecting for them to do? You could have told them that their name was Polly Wally and they would have signed that. After the stress you put them
Corey couldn't even read his confession.
Right. And that's the thing that got me when he went to court. They said something to him. They was like, he was like, well, I can't read. So how did you think he sat here and had his confession? He did this and then he did that when he couldn't read it. So it was a true situation. He took advantage of that.
I mean, I like I said, Will, I definitely understand why you're saying this is not something that I respect it and I understand it, but I encourage you to take it in parts, do 15 minutes at a time. But because I think she just did such a phenomenal job. Yeah. And like I said, this is just I understand, especially as a Black man, I understand.
To be honest, that's how I watch it, like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I understand it. Like, watch it like you watch a TV show and you taking bathroom breaks. Like, I get it. I absolutely get it.
I watched it. Like I said, I watched episode 1 a couple weeks ago. I watched episode 2 last night. But after that, I watched Fluffy Iglesias, the comedian.
Right.
He has a show.
Just need a little break.
Yeah, so I watched like half hour, whatever, of his show to kind of get a laugh, and before I went to bed, you know, and I got up and I watched something else, and I came back to that again. It took me a minute to get through it.
It did.
I mean, if you sit back and watch it straight through, it's probably about 5 to 6 hours of viewing.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But that's a lot on the soul.
Yeah,
Right,
I wouldn't be able to do that. And like I said, to me, I feel like at the, you know, I owe it. This is, again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm talking about for me. I felt like I owe it to them because, you know, it's hard for me to watch, but they lived it.
You know,
and again, I'm not. That's how I felt. I'm not judging nobody else because again, I know everybody has to do what they need to do. Right. And because again, I came out of Rosewood, like real talk. I went to go see Rosewood, and I was gonna catch a charge. I was living like for real. I was living in New York at the time. I came out the movie theater, and I just saw all these white people, and I was like, "Who? Let me get home." Like real talk. That's how angry I was. So I get it. Trust me, I get it. You know.
But you know, and it's funny because, like you said, we process everything. Like my husband, he can't watch Time to Kill.
Oh. Ooh.
And I love that movie.
Oh, Time to Kill. Yeah, that's another one.
But the thing about it is, and I'll say this, I truly, truly applaud Ava DuVernay because she had to sit back and hear their stories.
And research and live in it. I mean, this wasn't an overnight project. Like, again, you see, but like she had a therapist on set.
Shit, she needed a half hour.
Did you see how the actors were crying? When Oprah did the interview, the actors were there as well as the exonerated five.
The first half.
And when the actors, they spoke the first half, but then the second half they were in the audience and she was talking to the exonerated five. And I mean, when they were talking, you saw the actors crying in the audience of the boys who played them. And I'm just like you see that they're still affected by it.
And you know what the thing is, and the guy who played Corey Wise, he played Corey as a
fights in the movie theater doing higher learning.
Oh no, they was fighting in the movie theater doing higher learning.
I believe that. I believe that.
Especially that one scene.
That's fine.
But you know, the actor who played Corey Wise, he was the only actor to play him as a youth and as an adult.
Right. And that was very deliberate.
And I can't imagine the process as an actor that he went through. You know, so, and I love the part when they had the five on stage and Corey like blew a kiss, like, you know, like a hand kiss to him. Like, thank you for telling my story.
Right.
But then he said, they asked him how did he feel watching this young man play him. And he was like, I appreciate the fact that I paraphrase it, but he let me see my pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, so you lived through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for you to go back and actually see somebody to put what you went through and put it out there for the world to see.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I can't imagine. Like one of them said that $40 million, that wasn't shit. That wasn't.
Well, like you said, once we paid the lawyers and we paid this and we paid that and you divided by five, it really wasn't shit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And again, even if it was $40 million per person, it still does not. Right. Those boys lost their youth. They lost so much.
And Atron was like, you know, because of that, he hates his father. His father's dead and gone. And
he
because of what he went through, because of the decision his father made, he's a grown man with 6 kids of his own, he said, and you still have hate for your father because of this pivotal moment in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, but anything else you wanted to add? Because we going to change topics. Anything else you wanted to add?
Real quick, like one of the things that, you know, with films like this, and you mentioned a few others like Rosewood and so forth, the thing that I guess is most stressful for me is it's one thing to see a film, and when you come out of the theater, you can say, that's over, that's done with. You process that a little bit differently. But the thing that concerns me is, like, after we've seen films like this, what are we doing to stop it from happening again?
Right.
See, it's one thing to go and see these kind of films and so forth, but what I always feel is missing after a movie like this comes out is there's nothing done to prevent this from happening again. The only reason why these guys got the attention they got is because it was New York. You know, you had Sharpton, Mason, and you also had the black press.
Right.
That's key. That was huge in terms of getting this story out. But in every city across the United States, there are young men, young women that are being caught up, blamed for things they didn't do, forced to confess, so on and so forth, whose stories we never hear. And what always concerns me is, like, how many more times we have to see this story until we really start to put things in place and we start to build protection around our communities to avoid this from happening again. You know, so whether you go see a Rosewood, you know, you come out, you see that, we're still getting falsely accused of rape. Or we still are being accused of rape under suspicious circumstances. You go see the film you're talking about now with the young men from Central Park, like I said, for my parents, that would have harkened them back perhaps to the Scottsboro Boys. Now you look and you'll see something like when they just had this big thing with the Baltimore Police Department, where there was a unit within the department that was planting stuff on people.
Right.
Those went to jail behind that.
Right.
You know, so for me, the other thing that's really upsetting is it's not old news. These are not ancient stories. This is not ancient history. This is not, this is all new. And I just don't see us, after we see these kind of films and we have the outrage, we have the discussion, we have the talks, I don't see where.
What's the follow-up to it?
Right.
I agree.
Because think about it. In another 15 years, or maybe even shorter than that, 10 years, we're going to have a Trayvon Martin story. Somebody going to make a movie out of that.
Right.
So it's like on the one end, and I know they would do Renee's black filmmaker and so forth, but on the one end, you got, white supremacy that can murder us. Then they turn around and they play a role in creating a film about it. Then they profit on that end. So on both ends, you got people profiting off of our pain.
Well, Ava says during the interview, she does say, "What are we going to do now? Like, where do we go from here?" Right. She does bring the question up.
I agree. Yeah, and I do agree that there a lot of times we get angry, but that's just like with anything. Right. Somebody shoots up a school, everybody's mad, and then a week later we've moved on. So I agree with you.
The next story is.
Right, and I agree with you. What do we? And I point the finger at myself as well to say, what is it that we are doing? This is what I'm going to say to you though, Will. And you always have an open invitation. I would invite you when you can, because I know you're busy. But when you can, I invite you to come so we can maybe have a follow up and say, look, this is what's going on, and what is it that we can do? You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I'll say, I used to always say, well, the solution is, tell our boys stay out the park at night. Don't go here. Don't do this. Don't do that.
But how much are we gonna stop our kids from being kids? You know what I mean? Like,
and I had to realize it's not a
situation. Forget, we don't have kids. We have adults.
That's
right. They start walking, they are adults.
Right.
And also keep in mind, we got stories to sit in their house.
Yeah.
You try to get your own car.
Right. Minding your business. Minding your business.
Really right. But the guy, out west, he got killed by a police officer in his own home.
Exactly.
She thought it was her house.
She lying. She ain't think it was her house. We know that. We know that was a lie. But yeah. So and
the idea is that there is no safe space for us.
Right.
I think the sooner that we truly acknowledge that, not just pay it lip service, but really recognize and understand that there is no safe space for us, that we're going to continue to see these types of things happen. We don't live day by day as if that's our reality. And the truth of the matter is it is. All of us live our lives knowing, if you black, you live your life knowing you're going to be affected by racism. The only thing you hope is you're not killed by it when you encounter it.
Right. Thank God. You're right about that. No, you're right about that. No, that's valid. That's very valid.
I think on a smaller scale, we need to start pushing our kids to understand the law. Not only understand it, but be a part of it. We as a people need to stop running away from jury duty. Push our kids to be lawyers, to be prosecutors, to be all part of, judges, bailiffs, whatever. We need to be more present in our lives because, like, and somebody pointed out just now, one actor in the movie, Josh Jackson, he played the lawyer of one of the boys, and when they did the interview at the end, Joshua Jackson said, we need to change the name of the justice system because it's not just.
No, damn sure is that. Yeah.
And then on top of that, and they're right. We keep trying to fix.
It is the system.
Yes, the system is not broken. It's designed exactly what it's supposed to do.
Exactly it. That's it.
In jail. You're absolutely
and that's honestly, that's my argument. And I know that there are people who are of the mindset of separatists, but I feel like, is it a perfect system? Hell no. But it's the system that we have, and the only way we can change it is from within. And so, not registering to vote, not voting gets us fucking Donald Trump. Like, I blame, when anybody wants to talk about Donald Trump, I blame the black community that Donald Trump is president, because the black community came out. That was the lowest number of black voters since Carter, not since Obama, since Carter. If the black community had showed up, I understand, and I understand that Hillary wasn't a perfect candidate. I'm not going to go through what Hillary is or isn't. However, who would we rather have in office right now? Hillary or Trump?
Right. She wasn't perfect, but she wasn't Trump. So
and so my thing is, a lot of, the Black community stayed home, and as a result, this is what we're fucking stuck with. So when people want to talk about Trump, that's who I blame. And I mean, people can say what they want to say, but I feel the same way. We've got to put ourselves, people get out of jury duty. Every time your ass lie and cough and make up a lie and don't show up for jury duty, you're allowing somebody else to make a decision. You never know what that case is going to be and how you can probably affect it in a different way. I'm sorry. People can argue with me and, oh no, the system this, and they don't like the Black man. Okay, sure. But then it's going to continue to oppress us if we don't find a way to get in it and change it. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
Especially if we keep showing it. We don't like it or we're scared of it. Or
Regina
whatever.
just said her son has jury duty tomorrow. Well, make sure he's there.
Well, make sure he goes.
There. Pack him a sandwich.
And again, if he don't get picked, he just don't get picked. But at the end of the day, when we keep blaming juries, Trayvon Martin, well, the jury did it. The Central Park 5, the jury did it. Who the fuck is on the jury?
And and I had this conversation with someone who's an attorney earlier this year. It says to be judged by a juror of your peers. Well, if I'm like in the sense of Raymond in the Central Park 5, when he went back for the drug charge, I don't know if he got a trial, how it went with him. But in that situation,
no, they just violated him. I don't even know if he had a charge.
But I'm just saying that situation you're criminal, whatever, and you're convicted with a felon, and you're going back. There are no felons on the jury box. So if I'm sitting there with a prior conviction and I'm at trial or what have you, and I had the housewife, the teacher, the lawyer, whatever, sitting on my jury box, they don't understand what I've been through. So they aren't a juror of my peers. So that's something else we did really look into. Because again, in Central Park 5, they had, from what I remember, they had a majority white juror.
Yeah,
they didn't see themselves or their children in the faces of those babies
or the experiences.
That's why,
and that's the thing with that's the other thing with oh shit, I lost my train of thought. That's the other thing with when you talk about a jury of your peers, with restoring rights to felons. My thing is, once again, if you're saying you go to jail to serve your time, and once you serve your time, you're done.
That's it.
I don't understand why for the rest of my life I can't vote.
And you have to apologize for it. My whole thing, look, if you went to jail and you served your time, when you get out, you should apologize and know that about it.
But that was
like you went to jail.
That was key. I was so full with Corey. When they kept asking him, when he went
kept going up for parole,
and
they wanted him to admit that he did it.
Admit it?
And he just stopped showing up.
Yeah, I love when he was like, "I ain't going today." I was like, "Thank you," because why you keep putting yourself through this type of emotional stress? They don't give a fuck about what you've learned, how you've grown, who you've become, or nothing. All they want to know is admit to that you did it. And I'm glad he stood his ground. I'm sorry he paid that price, but I'm glad he stood his ground and kept saying, "I didn't do it."
Right. All right, well, Will, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate it, and like I said, you are welcome to come back. We can continue talking about what we need to do as a community, as a society, with Black men, Black women. I would love to continue this conversation. You let me know when you got time. I'll make the time when you got the time.
All right, excellent. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of the conversation. Via phone, so I couldn't make it out there.
Nah, it's cool. Well, you live a long way out, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for calling in and sharing your point of view, especially from being there at that time.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
All right, thanks.
Plus, we had a caller on the show. That's great.
Right, and we had a caller on the show.
Right.
Thank you. Never gonna forget this day.
Right. Thanks, Will. Love you bunches. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah. So. We saw y'all comments. We weren't trying to leave y'all out, but we were trying to let him get his word in. But I get what you're saying, Regina, with your work schedule and things like that. But in all honesty, let him Uber to it. Let him do something. But again, we need more people. We need more Black people. We need more Black men in so many different roles. Teachers, doctors, lawyers, judges, juries. We need them in so many different roles where our Black men can see you can be more than just what they accuse you of.
I can say I was a part of the whole I don't want to do jury duty crowd or whatever.
I've always wanted to do jury duty. I never get picked.
Oh, really? I've been picked twice.
Never picked me.
I watched God Code Free because damn the evidence or everything else. Well, it's the cops. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Like as a Black man, I understand where you're coming from,
right?
Like I understand, but he admitted to doing it.
Sounds guilty to me.
Like I don't.
We can't say that though.
That's true. You're right. My bad. True. True.
These ain't babies. This is a grown man.
Touche.
He looked across the courtroom and was like, I'll do it again.
Oh, he kind of hit it with the Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, I did it. I do it again.
Oh, that was
Sam Jackson.
The Time to Kill.
I mean, yes, I said that bitch got me saying To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I'm sitting there like it's like whatever, because you know these cops, blah, blah, whatever. I'm like, this man assaulted this other man.
No, the corner.
That lived together. Like they gonna see each other again.
Right.
You know,
and he went free, and I'm just like, y'all just let a criminal.
I did it
free.
I was on jury duty. My first jury duty, I was living in DC. And I was like 16. I think I was before. I was like 16 and 17. And for some damn reason, they made my ass hair juror. I don't know why. I really think somebody wanted the job, like for real. Somebody wanted to do that shit.
It's random.
Yeah. Well, they got the vote.
No, they vote for the
they
foreman.
Got the vote, for the foreman. And they picked me, and I was like, y'all want to go down that road? Let's fucking ride. The second one.
Remember, this was your choice.
Right. Y'all chose me.
Right.
You picked me.
Just so you know how this about to roll.
Right. And the second one, I was in Prince George's County, and I was picked as an alternate jury. And I'm not gonna lie, I was mad about that because as alternate jury, you sit through the whole entire trial, but right before the decision is read, they dismiss you. Yeah. And I'm like, well, fuck you. Like, and I ain't gonna lie, I was like, well, fuck it, I could have stayed home because right before we were going on vacation. I had shit to do, and I was mad about that. And then at the time, my son was an infant, so I had to figure that situation out.
Yeah, my first time was a drug trial.
I never got picked.
And it was like
last time they just sent me home. She was like, "You ain't got to stay, boo." I said, "But I want to."
Like when I got home, and I'm like, I was confused about the alternate jury. I'm like, it's 14 of us sitting there. I thought it was only supposed to be 12.
Well, right.
I was like, wait, what type of case is it? I couldn't tell him exactly. Yeah, I was like, it's a drug case. He was like, oh, don't worry about it. You're not alternate. Like, you're not alternate. Don't worry.
And that was mine. Mine was a drug case. And one of the lawyers came out afterward, and he was like, had you not been pulled, what was going to be your decision? And I was like, not guilty. And he was like, why? I said, because I truly felt as though the prosecutors did not present a strong enough case.
Right.
Because basically what the defense side was saying, that they planted drugs on him. They planted on him. Right. Because when you arrested him, you arrested him on a drug charge, but he didn't have any drugs on him. And you tried to say because he had prior convictions as a seller, that he must have been in the park to sell drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, and then miraculously later on it comes out, he had drugs on him. So that's how I was kind of like, you can't sit here and say that, because I don't care if 100 times you found him in the park and 99 times he was in the park to sell drugs. That one time he didn't have drugs on him, he not necessarily meant that he was there to sell drugs. And that's what we're dealing with right now. This time here, not the other 99 before.
This time right
here.
Right.
So I was like, because I didn't feel it.
Because I almost started to fight. Well, I didn't almost start to fight. Well, it was kind of like I wasn't hearing anything anybody else had to say because of just the evidence.
Right.
All this other emotional stuff that y'all talking about, whatever, got nothing to do with this case. And I was actually, I was actually mad at the dude that was on trial. I'm like, you should have seen this coming.
Right.
Like, you should have known.
You ain't know. You ain't see what I saw.
And you should have just said no from the gate. Because he's about to go to jail for selling drugs to somebody that's already in jail.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is
so I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So you should have said no from the gate. But anyway,
this is so not our hashtag, but since you just said that, it just pops in my head. You know how random we are here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rayful Edmond getting out. Yes or no?
I'm fine with it.
Fine with him getting out?
Yeah.
I
mean, he served his time.
Time's over.
Yes, okay.
But you already know my theory. I already think Rayful Edmond out. So I think Rayful Edmond been out for years. So seriously, I think when Rayful Edmond got caught, when he got caught in jail selling drugs, and he was selling for Griselda, and they wanted her, and he got his mama out of jail and his sister out of jail. You think he didn't? He been in protective custody ever since, but ain't nobody know where he is. He got a facelift. Rayful Edmond been living down. He been living down in North Carolina on somebody's farm. He out. He done got the money he had buried in somebody's backyard.
He Raymond Edwards now.
There you go.
Oh, Johnson.
Right. I mean, if you ask me, that's just my two. I just feel like Rayful Edmond is already
not to go past here and here. Like, they showed him a map. Like, you stay in here, and that's it.
I just popped in my head. But so wait a minute. So Regina said that. 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 Regina said Oh, you don't know? Rayful Edmond, for those who don't know, was a black man in DC in the 80s. A lot of shit went down in the 80s, in the late 80s. Who was arrested?
He was the first drug dealer to be convicted under the RICO
under that Kingpin status.
Kingpin statute, yeah.
And he was in jail. They took him, his mama, his baby
everybody,
mama, sister,
everybody
who was any way connected.
Look, if your last name
right started with an E,
right,
you was in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it was big. Like his drug empire ran from New York to North Carolina.
Yeah,
and he was the first drug dealer to be convicted under the Kingpin statute. And so whatever his conviction was, like his time is up.
If you watch the movie Paid in Full, it's about drugs going on in New York. But when they speak of a big drug connection they have in DC,
it's Rayful Edmond.
That was him.
And it was another movie that it's another one of the movies that Rayful Edmond was referenced in.
You know, I went to
and
school.
if you go on YouTube, they got a bootleg documentary made on them. You can find it on YouTube.
And I went to school in DC.
But see, everybody knows somebody around them.
I mean, my brother sold drugs for him.
Yeah.
So,
I went to school
back in the day.
I went to school in Northwest. Yeah. And at the time, again, because I was a good girl.
I mean, everybody in DC was selling drugs, sold drugs. You were a good what?
I was a good girl.
I'm gonna need a definition. You know how you doing a spelling bee and you don't know how to spell the word. Like, can I get a definition?
Can I get a word of origin?
Right, I need a definition for good girl.
You want the Webster dictionary? Or you want my?
I want the meat definition for good girl. I need that.
I ain't saw no shit get caught. So
see, not they getting caught. That's not that. Yeah. But if that's the case, I'm a good girl too.
I went to school in Northwest.
Good girl.
And it didn't click with me at the time because I was trying to be in my books. And I remember seeing limousines pull up to the school. And again, I didn't live in that life. You know, I wasn't in it like that. I knew people, but I was hood adjacent. Right. I didn't know nobody that was,
hood adjacent. Right. Go to the hood dictionary.
And I would see limousines. It wasn't until he got.
Oh, go ahead. Hashtag.
It wasn't until he got arrested and things that I realized there were so many people in my class and things like that were working for him. The limousines were coming to pick them up to make drops and do stuff like that.
Crazy.
And I'm just like, wow, like a guy I knew, like I kind of hung that again adjacent to work under him.
All right.
Well, no, he dated somebody.
Oh, you was adjacent, all right. No, I'm just playing.
He knew somebody. He dated somebody I knew.
Somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah,
that I knew.
And he worked for him, and I was just like, and then so when it all like came out, I was like. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't naive. I knew people sold drugs. I knew people, I knew that. But I didn't know.
You lived here.
Right. It was kind of hard.
Everybody knew somebody.
Right.
If you wasn't on drugs,
right.
Exactly.
So,
but in the 80s, 90s, baby.
Yeah. So when all that came out, I was like, wow.
Everybody did one down.
Yes.
I didn't have a light bill.
We're not admitting to nothing, though.
I ain't admitting shit.
Right.
The only reason why I mentioned my brother because he did.
Oh, Regina,
come and get him.
Right. Regina said she did. Well, you were a good girl, then, Regina.
You was a good girl, Regina.
And the thing, like, I had classmates.
You don't even know nobody.
Okay, so another thing we might talk. I might talk about this.
Come on, Regina.
But my 10th grade year, again, I went to school with Rachel's employees.
Right.
So, you had to intertwine when you had class projects, shit, you had to work on shit, you had to talk to them. So you really want to know where. And for a lot of things, they were regular people. They were good people. Yeah. They just sold drugs. It was just how they chose to make money or how they had to make money.
Just don't run across them, after midnight. That's all.
Right. Just don't owe them no money. We good.
Right. And they were sweet. I got the 11th grade year. I went to a different high school. Was not my teachers, but the biology teacher and the botany teacher were growing weed. We had a greenhouse.
What's the name of that show? What was the name of that show on HBO with the chemistry teacher was selling
Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad. That's what we had. Breaking Bad going on.
Yeah. So it was so funny.
And I know what high school you went to.
We were
Weeds.
Weeds was fun. Oh, that was my show. Anyway, go ahead. Actually, I didn't like the way they did it.
But I was talking to somebody different topics, talking about just the scope of
ADD.
People were talking about teachers. Something happened with a teacher recently. Oh, did y'all see the girl? She was valedictorian. She did a speech, and she was like, "I want to thank my counselor for not knowing my name and not doing this."
Yeah, and she called him straight out on the hard
show. So they got into the conversation.
I watched that show like 5 times.
Yeah. So they got into the conversation of. So we got to talk about teachers and things like that, and how I said my 9th grade teacher was an alcoholic. She used to drink vodka. And she drank vodka because she's my algebra teacher. and she would put her hand over the cup when you came near. When you.
We know that's not how you roll.
Stop talking about the teacher.
So when she came near,
we know that's not you.
When you came to her desk, she put
That's
her
all right,
hand over her
classic.
cup, so you would see that it was not coffee. And we always knew when she was drunk, she'd take one shoe off and she'd be writing, sliding across the board as she writing.
Take one shoe off.
And she had one shoe
What
as
is the
she writing.
significance of having one
Because
shoe
she had her
off?
stocking on, so as she's writing, she would slide across the floor while she writing on the board.
I ain't gonna front. I worked with a guy when I was at my first teaching job,
Yeah.
and every morning he would go out to have his coffee.
See?
And it was years, but like real talk, it was years before I knew that he was drinking. Because I mean, I didn't pay attention.
And then
And somebody mentioned it one time, and I was like, "Oh, that's what he doing?"
Right. And see, that was for me. That was ninth grade. That was still junior high school. Those in DC. 10th grade year, my French teacher was arrested.
Can we stop talking about the teachers?
I'm just saying for molesting kids.
Can you stop?
And then the same year, my 10th grade science teacher went to rehab for 3 months.
They tried to make me go to rehab.
I knew that was coming. That's why it's called. I just gonna wait right here. Y'all get y'all music break out.
Look, all right, we changed the subject.
Right,
what we
okay,
not getting ready to do is get here and keep talking about these teachers doing shit. We ain't gonna keep doing
This was
that.
years ago.
Whatever. Question, y'all. I got a question for. We're gonna change tone. It was a good conversation, real deep. Thank you, appreciate everybody. We're gonna change tone for a minute. I have a question.
All right.
Oh, what do I want? I don't know.
Don't know.
Why the fuck niggas keep going to the DR? Why we still going to the Dominican Republic? What the fuck is going on in the Dominican?
I saw
Wait, they just slept with They just slept with students? I'm like, won't this become an epidemic? Because you know what? When no teacher trying to get down when I was going through school. That's all I'm saying.
I know a lot of people who slept with their teachers in school, and I hate to say that, but
I was a good girl in school,
and I'm talking about guys and girls.
And none of my teachers were cute enough for that shit. So I was just like,
Let me think. Well, I went to Catholic
then
school.
there's
I had mostly nuns.
I was like,
I wasn't going down.
How? Where are these? Never mind.
yeah, I'm
Let's change subject. What are you talking
I'm
about?
trying to. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie. I had a 4th grade substitute teacher that I was trying to go with my mama. No.
Oh, you were trying to hook up with your mama? Okay. Ooh, because you scared me for a minute.
No. 4th grade. I was trying to hook up with my mama. She was single. He was nice. Look, I believe he was single. I was trying to get her to kind of volunteer in class when he was there. But other than that, none of my teachers. No. But DR, I saw a meme, and it was a photo from a guy, and he was like, "Yeah, my baby mother, she's so sweet.
Right.
She just put $1 million life insurance policy on me and
Right.
tickets to DR."
I saw another guy say, "My employer, look at what I got today. I mean, even though I show up late for work sometime, and I don't really want to do my work, but he bought me this. He got me a trip anyway to the Dominican Republic." I was like,
they actually photoshopped Bill Cosby's head on the way to welcome to the DR.
that's
to the
bad.
bar. Yeah.
But like real talk, what's going on? I think it's a serial killer. Like I'm not even being funny. I think it's some criminal mind shit going on down there. Which I think going on.
Yeah. Just because.
Okay, so
But here's the thing. In my mind, it's like this has been like it's something
But I
that
keep
just now
telling
happening.
you, no, it's not on this level.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm not even
I
doing.
mean,
I'm not even doing that. We were talking about earlier.
Okay, go on my bad. All right,
I'm just saying because it's like I'm like because it's like the resorts and any
when we were waiting for you to get here.
any resorts that you go to, they tell you like a lot of places you just stay on you party or whatever.
that's not
But they're getting killed on the resort.
So I'm saying it because it's like the first one took some fun mini bar. I'm like, all right, well, how long has that bottle been sitting? I don't think these people have been tired of it. It's like, how long has that bottle been sitting there? Like, because I don't think they change them.
Well, this is my thing.
Well, they said it's like
that.
bootleg moonshine or something like.
Well, that was what I was gonna say. I saw a thing saying that there was a big arrest made a couple of years ago of people that were making alcohol and the hotels was buying it at cheap cost and putting it in, but the distilleries were broken up and they were arrested, blah blah blah. But no mention did it say, but we went in all the hotels and confiscated everything. Right. So I agree with you. I think that shit might possibly still be there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
And now, he would budget vacation. Hey, the mini bar.
I mean, I had this conversation the other day with some friends. So I agree that because the reason why I agree that it's probably liquor connected is because we're not hearing about kids. And the only kids that we are hearing about was some kids on like their graduation party. So of course they snuck some liquor. So the reason why I kind of, because at first I was like, ain't about no liquor, but when the the person I was talking to brought that point up. I was like, you know what? That's kind of valid. We're not hearing about kids, and we know that there are kids there on these resorts. So the fact that we're not hearing about kids being connected, I'm thinking, okay, then that makes sense that it probably is connected to the liquor. However, I still feel like it's some man-made shit. Like, I don't think this is coincidental, like, oh, it's a bad batch. Because it's too widespread. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling y'all, we need to get Hodge down there and pull him out of retirement. You know, we need to get some. I'm sorry, we need to sit him down there and get it taken care of. I said Hodge.
For those who don't know, Hodge is a character from Criminal Minds.
Get Criminal Minds down there. We got to unsub. We got to go identify. Bring Shamar Moore back. He ain't doing shit on SWAT. Bring him back.
Oh, damn.
You know, get the old team back.
That's how you feel.
Get the old team back. Penelope, get her on the.
I'm sorry.
And go on down there and figure shit out.
I'm sorry not to feel.
But it's been 20 years. How you not feeling her character?
Because she still looks like she's 12. Like, I need her to.
Well, it don't matter. It got one more season. The
show's almost over. You need to grow up.
Right. The show's almost over, so it don't matter.
I need her to grow up. I definitely. Now, Big Daddy said he had some co-workers to go, and they came back, and they had a great time. So he doesn't know what it is.
Okay, well, I'm glad that they
find out what they ate, what they drank when they were
right. You know what I mean? Because at this point, like real talk, if somebody said, because you know they said there was a hotel there that their rooms are usually $500 a night, then it dropped down to $125. If somebody said to you, "Yo, fuck it, we'll bring our own liquor. Let's go down to the Dominican Republic. We can get cheap airfare. We can stay cheap. Would y'all go?"
Yep.
No, I know you would. That doesn't surprise me that you say yes.
Okay, so
it doesn't surprise me that you say yes.
Okay, y'all know I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No.
Well, I'm gonna let it out the bag.
Hey,
I think
makes a conspiracy theorist. You already know.
I think that I'm gonna flip it for y'all. I'm gonna be that dude fresh out of prison. I'm gonna flip it for you. I think some shit was done to attack the people in the DR, and somehow it got out of hand, and it's affecting the tourists that are down there.
Right, because that's part of the.
Yes, but I think it goes. A
somebody
bit.
said like the movie Hostel.
I said I've never seen that damn. I was scared to watch it.
Oh, okay.
You're scared to watch it.
I just, it's so funny. No, every time I never saw it. The first original came out.
You know somebody that died, Big Daddy? He said, but no details.
Ooh. I think every time now Hostel 2 is already on. I can't never catch Hostel 1, so I got to find out.
That's kind of like that movie I've never seen. What's that movie?
Hostel's messed up.
Liam Neeson. With his
Taken.
I've never seen Taken because every time it's Taken 2 on, I can't catch Taken 1.
Okay.
I've never seen Taken. It's like I still ain't seen what's the Guardians of the Galaxy?
The first one was.
Guess what? The new Spider-Man movie,
Far From Home.
It comes out on my birthday, July 2nd. My birthday.
Yes, it
does. Hey, my birthday. Hey.
Me and baby girl want to go see Aladdin yesterday.
Y'all did? Did y'all like it? I can't wait for the Lion King to come out.
No, go see Aladdin.
Damn. Can I do both?
No, you have to go see Aladdin now. But no.
Did you see she got like? Do you own stock? What the? Did you see her face?
So sad. No.
You go see Aladdin.
You go see Aladdin.
Damn.
Okay,
my bad.
Go watch the movie, Anime.
Right.
Anime, go watch the movie.
She was scary. I saw Rocket Man.
Was it good? I want to see it.
Let me tell you this. It wasn't what I expected because it's kind of a musical, and I wasn't ready for that. But I did like it.
Okay.
He wasn't prepared.
I wasn't ready. I mean, like from the very beginning, it breaks out in song, and I was just like, "What? What's happening now?" And so the whole they like used his song lyrics to kind of coincide.
Everybody loves Abby Smith.
I
stopped watching. The last episode I saw of NCIS was when Rocky Carroll's character, the black guy, the head guy, his wife, and
that was like 3 seasons ago.
Probably about 5. When David's dad got killed.
Okay, that was forever ago.
That was last episode.
My man didn't left, but I think he might be coming back because Bull got canceled. So.
Oh, it did. Good.
Well, I liked Bull, but Bull got canceled because there was some one of the higher ups on the show was accused of sexual misconduct.
Keep your dick to yourself, damn. I don't ask for it, don't ask no.
Because I like Bull, but now that Bull is canceled, I'm thinking he might come and the reason why is because since you haven't been watching, David's character, they thought she was dead, and come to find out she had a baby, and it was his, because they had like a little flame. No, it's a spider.
Yep.
Going up the curtain.
Yep.
Oh, I do see it. Feel it. Actually, I normally don't kill spiders. My mama said don't kill spiders because spiders kill other bugs.
Okay, no, you good. I'm good.
I mean,
what
I'm gonna do? I'm not. That's not a spider to kill it. What is it? What is it? A stink bug? I don't know, but whatever it is, kill it. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
You just gonna let it fall and you just gonna. I mean, where'd it go?
Look, you said kill it. You didn't.
I mean, I don't even see it. Where'd it go?
I did specifically what you said.
Down there.
Okay. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry. Okay.
We had a bug intervention.
Okay, I'm cool with bugs, but not in the house. You have your
I don't want them in the house either.
Yeah, that's why I pointed it out.
I appreciate that.
No, does it come out this weekend?
What?
You said did the Lion King?
Lion King comes out in the middle of July, like July 13th or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see. I'll be on vacation then, but I'm going to go see. What do you say?
Big Day said you're gonna have a spider ghost.
But I normally don't kill spiders because they say spiders kill other bugs. But when you say that wasn't a spider, I was like, then kill it.
That was definitely an insect.
It was some sort of insect. Let me tell you something. A mosquito was in the house the other night, and I saw it flying around, but I couldn't kill it. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there minding my business. All of a sudden, I feel this pain in my hand. I look down. The mosquito is. You see the bump right there. Mm-hmm. Mosquito is chilling right there, just biting me. I said, "Bitch,
I left you alone.
I let you alone.
I let you live.
Apparently, I was mad as hell. I said,
apparently, you prepared for death.
Right. Oh my gosh, that made me mad. But anyway, all right, back to the topic. So we would go to. we were all. So Aladdin. Tell us about Aladdin. Right. So was Will Smith good?
Will Smith was excellent in that movie. And he really, I will say this: do not go look for Robin Williams Aladdin because it ain't there. This ain't just not what it's about.
All right, he made it his own.
Remember how if y'all saw Jumanji with The Rock and how they kind of?
I never saw that version.
The new one. Okay, well they kind of
that was actually fun.
Yeah, really, and they kind of they did a small tribute to Robin Williams in the movie. Now I did not see a tribute to Robin Williams in Aladdin, but I do believe that Will Smith did a great respect to the character he was building upon.
Okay. All right. I can respect that.
There are a lot of little things that were in the cartoon that weren't in the movie. I think some of it was visual for those. Okay, I love Aladdin, so
clearly we got that.
So
never seen them threaten bodily harm on everybody.
Right.
So
no.
I was
see Aladdin.
Y'all defend me. I was not like
that. Y'all saw it. Y'all didn't see her face
live. You act like
right. You act like it's not there.
Is it
live?
Are we finished? Or are we done? Are we live or we real?
Is it live? Is it live? Okay,
but
what's up, Teddy? I see you, boo.
Full disclosure, I've never seen the original. What the fuck?
Big Daddy, how you have 2 kids and you've never seen the original Aladdin?
Really?
Really, bitch?
Right.
Like on accident, you should say.
How you ain't seen it? Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm looking forward to the Lion King, except for one thing. And those who know me know what I'm not looking for.
Beyonce damn voice in that fucking movie. She gonna mess it all the way up. I hope she ain't got not one motherfucking song. Say your goddamn line.
She got, she got a song. Stop.
Nala ain't sing shit in the cartoon. Let's keep it.
But y'all know good well they're gonna have Beyonce. Yeah. She didn't sing "Can't Wait to Be King." That was
She was.
Oh, you know what they were? Yeah, they did.
That shit gonna be. I can't wait. See her ass.
Ouch.
All right.
All right.
What a bottle. I can't. You drank the bottle. You remember you had the corner.
I can't. I'm just like
Oh man.
They picked it for popularity. Unofficial sponsor. Y'all know it. Y'all knew it was around here somewhere. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you. Teddy.
What Teddy?
Wait, she sings "Can You Feel the Love"? Wait. They didn't sing that part. That was just playing in the background.
Somebody else sang it, but
she sings "Can You Feel the Love Tonight." She redid Elton John's "Can You."
He did hop on the plane, come across.
I'm about to be mad
and slap.
I'm about to be mad. Don't fuck with Elton. I'm about to be mad. Can you feel the love tonight? That's what she said. I'm with you, Teddy. I'm not a fan at all. All right. Anyway, but that's the only part that I'm not looking forward to. But I'm definitely excited that.
First Frankie Daddy now this.
Oh my God! The first cookout I go to and they playing the Beyonce version of "Before I Let Go." I'm packing a plate and leaving. Notice I said I'm packing a plate first, but I'm leaving.
But you know, and the fun thing
it will be no "Before I Let Go" challenge.
When I talk to people about the song who like the song, it's always the same part when the beat drops at the end. and they break it down. Not the part when she's singing here. It's like when she put her own little flair on it. They were part of everybody's on the dance to. And I'm like,
yo, actually,
my thing is just don't do it. Period. Stop.
The last day of school party. DJ, like that last 30 minutes I did that because they asked me to play it.
Right, of course.
So I played it.
The Beyonce version.
Yeah.
Did you mix in the Frankie Beverly version now? Did you give him something?
I really started to.
Oh, that's what you were supposed to do. You failed.
I really started to. But
you failed.
But I just moved as the song was playing. I just moved on.
Right, Big Daddy.
I just moved on to a whole other song.
He's like, Beyonce, okay? He just hates the fans.
I came back.
Yeah, her fans are extra.
They came back 5 songs later. Can you play that last bit?
They want to end
because they wanted to do the dance.
I'm like, well, one, wasn't nobody about to do the dance at this church function.
But the dance isn't provocative.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I mean, you can make it provocative.
They did a couple of arm movements, and that was it. It was like a waste of time. And I purposely, I was like, all right, cool. I'll play it. Just the last part, right? And plus, I was trying to contain myself because the way I was talking to me, she had no back pocket on her.
What?
Like she, I don't know. That's the thing. She took them off, so you had the pattern full back, but no back pockets.
What? What are you talking?
They're jeans.
People rip their back pockets.
But I mean, what does that have to do with you playing the song? That's what I'm not understanding.
Because one, I was upset they asked me to play the last version of the song, and two, she had back pockets.
You just mad that I did that she didn't have back pockets. I get you because I was lost at that part too.
I was trying to be cute. I was just like, nah.
She ain't got no pockets because she ain't got shit to put in it.
Anyway,
and moving on.
Yeah, we about to move on.
But what was that other hashtag?
Well, the other hashtag was immigration, but that's a little deep too. I don't know if we want to go deep again. We kind of had the deep conversation with
my thought on immigration is the same. I just believe if you're gonna shut the borders, close all the borders.
Shauna, I know it's terrible. I can only imagine. She said that she saw the clip of Can You Feel the Love and it was terrible. Well, for you, so you know it was bad and she spelled it terrible.
It's terrible.
It was terrible. I believe
like Charles Barkley. Terrible.
Just terrible.
Terrible.
But this is what I'm saying. Did y'all see the clip of the lady trying to justify not giving those babies soap, blankets, and a toothpaste? Talking about,
no.
Oh my gosh! If you watch the clip of one, and they've been blowing her. She's a federal prosecutor. They've been blowing up her voicemail.
What's her bullshit?
Because there's a law that says that you have to provide, safe and sanitary conditions, and she was trying to argue that it didn't violate the law by not giving them soap. And the judges were like, okay, clearly you're not sitting here arguing that not giving somebody soap is not a violation of a sanitary condition. Like, you're going to sit here and tell me that.
It's a true definition.
Right. Like, she said, she was really trying to argue it. I'll show you the clip. It's on YouTube. And she was just like, in some cases, they're not detained that long where they don't need. And he was like, okay, but we ain't talking about that. We're talking about people who were detained over a long period of time not getting soap. He was like, we ain't talking about fancy soap. We ain't talking about perfume soap. Just soap.
Average.
Right. He was like, you're not giving them blankets. He was like, we ain't talking about, 5,000 thread count Italian cotton. We just talking about some blankets.
At least the green Red Cross blankets.
Right.
We ain't talking about caress. Give that some suave
and she was really sitting there trying to argue it. So they have been blowing her up all day on Twitter. And somebody posted.
Somebody was like,
I
got captured by Somali pirates and they gave me soap and toothpaste.
Right.
And then they posted what she was saying.
I mean, when I worked at the jail, when they processed the kids and they gave them that, whether they stayed for 5 hours or 5 months, they got that. And if they left, okay, they left. But, and again, it wasn't the best soap. It wasn't the best lotion. It was that watery ass cheap shit. You know what I mean? But it was, they gave them something, right? Like, come on now. And
supposedly,
right.
Supposedly, when you're in custody,
you know what?
That's literally the only time law enforcement really has to protect your life.
But when I said this, and going back to the Central Park 5, I had people who were saying like,
oh well, we hadn't talked about it, but we can touch on it. We can touch on it.
The Mitch
McConnell bitch ass.
But they were saying that
it's Bitch McConnell.
Bitch McConnell.
Yeah,
Bitch
McConnell.
I like it, Big Daddy.
I like that. I like that, Big Daddy. Bitch.
People were saying that I lost my thought. There's something about the Central. Oh, they were saying they were surprised. They was like,
say no dancing in this church, you heathens.
Now the Bible says make a joyful noise and celebrate him in voice and in spirit and body. So dance in the church.
Look at who's quoting the Bible.
But we weren't in the church. We was in the parking lot. So
Jamaica.
Wow.
I did not say that on a Sunday. Woo!
It was children present.
And people like, I'm so shocked at what people who are not familiar with the Central Park Five, like, I'm just shocked at how this went on. And my thought is always this: the ancestors of the people who enslaved us. Why do we look for any type of righteous treatment from them?
But
and so this lady arguing over whether or not they got soaked. They're holding these kids separate from their parents in cages. And why are we surprised that she don't want to give them soap? Like, I mean,
something basic, like soap.
Right. I mean, you couldn't get them basic.
But my thing is, if somebody said on Twitter, they were like, she clearly, drew the short straw. Like, you could see that she was having a hard time even trying to justify her own argument. But my thing is, and don't fucking make it. At a certain point in life, sometimes, and I mean, that's in anything, you make a decision. Is this job really worth this? Like, if I'm really about to go here and make a fucking fool of myself arguing that children don't need damn soap. Like, I'm really about to do that. I don't give a damn if I drew the short straw or not. But yeah, they posted her, and it's not her private phone number. It's her work phone number. But yo, they was blasting her.
But even the girls.
That's what he was saying. And I mean, they were talking about the conditions are so deplorable. And that's why I said I don't even know if I want to go down that road, because we kind of came out of the Central Park and we were joking and stuff. But it's heartbreaking. And again, I say, I don't give a fuck your personal feeling on immigration. It's just about humanity and how you treat people. You can agree that people need to be deported. That's your business if that's how you feel. But should we not treat everybody with a certain level of dignity?
They're still people. And they're babies. These are babies. And you know what? I saw a meme of
some of them are fleeing death because that's how bad it is wherever they came from in their town. Mm-hmm. Like, you either work for the cartel or die.
Right. And I dealt with that when I worked at the jail. We had kids. We had kids there who were there. They'd been shipped here from El Salvador, and most of the countries were most of the time it was El Salvador, but other countries. And basically, they would sit here because they were told, basically they were working for, whoever you want to. I ain't gonna, plug in the sentence. They were working for them, and one, they were juvenile, so they were like, well, if you get caught, you're going to be charged as a juvenile. You're not going to be charged as an adult. And two, if you don't go, we're going to kill your family. And that was just real talk. That is what they're living with. That is their reality. So we can sit here and talk all we want about, oh, they should come here the right way. Oh, they should do this. Oh, they should do that. Oh, they're taking my jobs. Whatever bullshit argument y'all come up with. At the end of the day, what I don't want to hear, though, is that they don't deserve to be treated with dignity. I don't want to hear that.
And on that, just on a base level, times have changed. Whenever immigration laws that we have on the books were made, times have changed. Laws should have changed with them. The rules should have changed with it. We should, we can do anything else. We should be able to figure this out.
Well, you know what? Two things. One, I saw a meme where it was a white woman and this was a dog.
Exactly, Shauna. You could tell she was stumbling over her own words. You can tell.
If you can figure out how to go to a whole other continent and bring people here for free labor, you can figure out how
to get me started on that.
I mean, you can figure out this one here for people that actually want to be here.
But I saw a meme where it was a white lady standing there, and if you're looking at it to your left, there's a dog in a cage, and then to the right is 4 or 5 kids in cages stacked on top of each other. Mm-hmm. And the white woman has her back turned to the kids, looking at the dog, and like, this is a travesty. We can't treat this dog like that. Right. But you don't see the kids. And second thing, me and a tall one had a conversation the other day, and the tall one asked me, like, being so immigration is where it is at now. She's like, do we still need the Statue of Liberty? Because it said, give us your poor, your whatever, and humble masters. But at this point, we're turning away. She said, so isn't it?
But sign the guest book on your way in.
Sign the guest book on your way in.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. She's like, no, she said, is a Statue of Liberty and the symbolism.
It's a whole lot of shit that ain't needed anymore.
Yeah, but she's like, and the symbolism of what it is it still needed and or necessary? And I was like, and that light, no.
Yes. As long as you're not coming from the South.
That's right, because that is up north. So.
Now, as long as you're not coming from the South, you're good.
As long as you're not coming from one of them shithole countries that your president talked about, we're good. That's it. I mean, seriously, that's what it breaks down to. You're coming from nowhere, you can come in all day long.
Right.
But better not be coming from one of them shithole countries he talks about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, we go down a whole rabbit hole with that.
I have to ask this, and excuse my ignorance, but did he really say that the president of Puerto Rico was a dumbass or something?
He probably did. I mean, I can't keep up with all the dumb shit he said.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Allegedly, yeah.
My bad. It took me a second to even catch that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about him being ignorant. The president of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Well, we know that he didn't think Puerto Rico was part of the United States when they had the damn hurricane. He was acting like he was doing them a favor. Yeah. Bitch, they're a part of your country.
Yeah.
You're not doing them a favor. That's what you're supposed to
When he
do.
was doing jump shots and paper towel rolls.
Right. Like he was doing, talking about someone, Puerto Rico is an island surrounded by water. Bitch, that is the very definition.
What? Show me an island they got land on one side.
That is a peninsula.
I think they call it a peninsula.
That would be a peninsula.
That's called Florida.
Well, you know what? You have islands that are surrounded by other islands, like Ohio, North Dakota.
I'm sitting here listening to your dumb ass too, like, really? What? Dumb ass. I'm sitting here listening to you.
Oh, wait.
What's Teddy talking about? I know you said something crazy.
Chelsea.
Oh, Felicia Coates.
Yeah, she gave it to him, didn't she? Hey, Richard.
Man.
Yeah.
Richard.
Undressed. I was like,
I know that.
He was bitch naked.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
But okay, my thing is, first of all, for you to say reparations is we gave you Obama. First of all, you didn't give us a motherfucking thing.
Right.
Barack
and Mr. McConnell, you spent the whole 8 years that he was president trying to get him out of being president.
Fuck you. But hold on, let's be for real. First of all, you didn't give us Barack Hussein Obama. He earned his spot. Let's start.
One, Bitch McConnell looked like
a Bitch McConnell.
Yes. He looked like all the old, the old posters of slave masters, whatever. Like he looks like they cut him out of that joint.
He just looks. He looks like he needs a chin. That's what he looked like. I got two. He can have one of mine.
He look like 1835.
Yeah, like he's a personification of 500 years ago.
I just, okay. So if y'all gave us, if our reparations was you gave us Obama.
So you're saying reparations not permanent because look like you're trying to get rid of our
right. Then,
right.
Then we paid your racism back and gave you Trump. So can we call it fucking even and move on? Like, how can you sit here and say that was part of a reparations move? Like, this is why I drink and curse to not kill people. So this is the
that's the main song from John Wick, Killing Strangers.
Did y'all see John Wick 3 yet?
Yes.
I know you saw it. I don't even know why I asked you.
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Hold on, let me just tell you. I don't tell you if Keanu Reeves ever come up with it.
You didn't?
Don't look for my house.
Well, that's how I feel about Ice Cube. Y'all already know.
I was just gonna say Chuck D.
Well, definitely. Already Chuck D.
Okay.
Chuck D follows me on Twitter. We talk. That's my man right there.
My face.
Richard, we talked about the Central Park 5. We talked about immigration. We talked about movies.
The Dominican Republic.
We talked about Dominican Republic. We talked about your president.
Aladdin.
So we're going to talk about Aladdin. We about
marvelous.
Hey, no, he has no lips.
Who has no lips?
Bitch McConnell.
He doesn't. He ain't got a chin. He ain't got no lips.
Let's say it all together. 1, 2, 3.
Bitch McConnell. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna wrap it up in a few minutes. We've been on almost 2 hours. So yeah, we have. But yeah, Richard, we've talked about a lot of things. We have. So let's end on a good note. What are our summer plans, people? I know you. One thing you shared.
Yeah, we're going on vacation.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck the wind blows. Like
whatever the fuck the wind blows.
Okay.
And in a good sense, in a good spirit. In a good sense, I'm usually the one who's like, oh, that's too far.
Oh, it's all right, Richard. You can catch us the next time.
Yeah. I'm usually the one who's like, that's too far. That's this. Now, I ain't gonna lie, because I live in West Bubble, so driving is. It takes me.
We know.
It takes me 30 minutes to get to civilization, so
I put gas in my car every time I go to your house.
Just in case.
I need to get gas. Just in case. She's not all that she seems.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, just whatever. I definitely have some movies.
We got music on.
Is that the music? Is that what you were talking about? Telling me to look for?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought you the whole hard drive.
Look, I'm gonna need you to stop. Don't judge me. Stop judging me.
I'm not judging you. It's not a judgment. It's a fact. It's right there, and it's been right there.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just like kind of up for whatever. There are lots of movies I do want to see, like the Spider-Man Far From Home. I still haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
She was singing a song from Aladdin. The Alibaba song from Aladdin. She was like, "What is she singing?"
You know, a lot of people.
I haven't seen Dark Phoenix. I heard it's not that good.
A lot of people haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
I heard it's. Did you see it?
Nope.
I heard it's not good.
And that's saying something.
It is saying something.
But I haven't seen it.
I'm going to see the Spider-Man movie because it comes out on what?
Your birthday.
My birthday. My birthday. Hey. My birthday. We can do a review. I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm going to see it. Now, mind you, I haven't seen like the last 3 Spider-Man movies. So I don't know.
Have you seen the one with Tom Holland? Have you seen
Who's that?
The guy who's playing Spider-Man name? His name is Tom Holland.
I haven't seen any of the
You
movies.
haven't seen Homecoming?
None of those. None of his movies.
Well, you have to go see Homecoming to understand.
Why do I always have to go see another movie to go see a movie? Why do y'all make me do that?
Because Mary Jane is not a red-headed white chick in this movie, and when you see her, you get to
black.
why. Yeah, she is. Zendaya plays Mary Jane.
Who?
Zendaya.
Oh, Zendaya plays Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Zendaya.
So I have to go see Homecoming.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Is it on demand?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go.
Yes.
Don't look at me like that. They kept making the same damn movie. I was like, why do we keep making the same fucking Spider-Man movie? I didn't understand it.
Yes, she did say that, Regina.
What I say?
That you had 2 chances and he can have Mitchell McConnell can have one.
Yes, I said that.
She said she ran
I have
downstairs.
2. He can have one of mine.
2 chains.
I'm just saying, 2 chances.
2 chains.
Yes, you have to see. So they did the originally with Tobey Maguire.
I'll go see Homecoming. Yeah, I think the last one I saw was the one before the one that had
RDJ.
the last was the one before the one that had Jamie Foxx in it. I never saw the one with Jamie Foxx.
That was okay.
I didn't think
that was with Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man, and he's moved on to other things.
It kills me that you just pop up with actors' names.
She knows. Don't she know?
Slim, you live on IMDb.
She knows
I swear to God. Like you watch the credits and write shit down.
Yeah, you really do.
Like you know the extras' names.
You really do.
Random motherfuckers in the movie.
Where they went to college. How many kids they got? Like
Jesus. I thought I was a movie here. You got me beat. Because not only you know the scenes, you know all the actors' names. I don't even know all the actors' names.
Okay, they said Homecoming was good. I'm gonna go watch.
No, it's a really good.
And I love Monster Squad. I couldn't name one actor.
Who?
Like, and I love Monster Squad. I couldn't name one actor.
I've never even heard of it.
Monster Squad, the black guy.
Big Daddy, have you heard of Monster Squad? I bet
Wolfman has narcs.
I bet you he knows. Big Daddy.
Wolfman doesn't have narcs. Do it anyway. Bow.
See, I don't.
Wolfman.
I don't get the joke. I don't get the joke. It's like I never saw. What's that movie with the You Killing Me Small?
Sandlot.
Never seen Sandlot.
Samuel Earl Jones is in it.
Samuel Earl Jones. Who the fuck is that?
James Earl Jones.
Oh, I was about to say, who the hell is Samuel Earl Jones?
James Earl Jones.
What?
I'm like, wait a minute. Like I had to slow turn. Like,
Samuel Earl Jones.
Because I was looking at something.
I mean, I know they all black. All black people. You just put 2 people
together. Do we all work together? No, not at all. So funny.
If we work together, we probably would get fired.
Right.
We would get nothing.
We had to have our own company. We could never.
I'm borderline about to get fired now. I can only imagine if these 2 work with me. It'd be a problem. I'm on thin ice.
No, we do not. Oh my God.
Right now.
If we work together, that would be a whole nother set of problems.
We would have to have a strong support system under us. And they would have to understand. I think I would be a good employee because I'm not going to lie. Every Friday.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Oh, thank you. I'm not going to lie. Every Friday, we're going to shut shit down at 2 o'clock at the latest. Just, especially summertime.
Summertime. You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, I really did.
But yes, you have to see Homecoming. You ain't got to watch nothing else. But Homecoming.
All right, I will watch
and
Homecoming.
Michael Keaton's in it. Michael Keaton's in it.
Okay.
Much as you love Michael Keaton's Batman, I'm gonna tell you.
Wait a minute. Who told you I love Michael Keaton's Batman?
I thought you said that conversation. When we were talking about all the Batmans, I thought you. I'm sorry. No,
I don't give a fuck about. I mean, I don't have a preference about none of them. Again, I don't.
Michael Keaton's in it. Both
Adam West is my favorite.
What we say, Virginia? She kind of black. Zendaya.
Oh, Zendaya. She is black.
She's biracial. I think she's biracial.
Is she biracial?
But I like, I really like her.
But I watch Homecoming. Right after I watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
So that ain't happening.
Right.
So that's
in all seriousness, if you really like, oh, my birthday, I'm going to see it.
I am going to see it because it's my birthday.
Then take the hour, 2 hours, or whatever.
I will watch it sometime between now and next Tuesday. When is my birthday? I will.
When is your birthday again?
Tuesday. Next Tuesday, a week from this Tuesday coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 days from today.
Okay.
Or was that 8 days? Whatever, how many days?
July 2nd.
July the 2nd. weekend is my birthday. Y'all are going to hear about it until it happens. I just need y'all to know that. Because y'all know how I feel about my birthday.
So I think
it is a holiday. That is actually the founding of this country.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. That Independence Day really should be July 2nd.
Is that why you picked the day to come to this world?
I did pick that day to come into this world. You're welcome.
You know, I used to always say Dr. King's birthday is the 15th. So there's a king and then there was a queen.
Okay.
Everybody look. Right. You gotta find it. National holiday.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But it's cancer season, so bow down. It is cancer season.
What else is coming out that any of y'all want to go see? Or?
Lion King. I don't know.
Like I've got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I've got nothing.
Like I said, Lion King. Because honestly, I could live without Spider-Man. I'm only going because it's coming out on my birthday. But I could live without Spider-Man.
Teddy.
What Teddy say?
Team Capricorn.
Teddy's birthday is
shit.
His birthday is January 1st.
Hell to the year, yes.
Whatever.
January Capricorns are the best, but
first of all, we gotta get past my birthday first.
Whatever. So we start the year, we end the year. We start shit, we end shit.
Oh, the new It's coming out.
I'm not watching that shit.
I barely watched the old It.
I know John Ritter in the first one, but it's still in my knowledge. And I know
I remember it coming on. I remember when it came because it came on ABC. I remember when it came on TV. That ain't my shit. I don't do horror. I don't do horror.
You're not a horror fan. I'm not saying that.
Not on purpose.
The new Child's Play, that dog look creepy as hell.
Hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing none of that.
They probably bring the dog back.
Now there is a movie coming out. James Caldwell sent me the link, and he talked about it yesterday on his swipe left. It's called Ready or Not. I might go see that. It's a thriller. It's about
Ready or Not. Here I come. You can't hide.
Hey,
gonna find you and take.
Anyway, no, but it's about this chick. She marries into the family, right? And they tell her she got.
Damn, what I got to deal with.
That it's part of the tradition that they play a game of hide and seek. I'm gonna send you the link to it.
Oh hell!
And she's running around in her damn wedding dress, and they chasing her. And like at first, she thinks it's like a fake game, but it's really a game of hide. Like if they catch her, they gonna kill her.
Oh fuck so no.
So it's a horror, but it's got comedic parts too. Like some of the parts they show, I was laughing. So I said I might go check that out, but I don't even know when that comes out. I think that comes out in the fall.
I want to see Mom.
Nope.
I want to see this shit gonna be funny.
I don't have no need to see that. It's already out, so go see it.
All the Capricorns. I know. I want to see myself.
Cancer season, y'all. Capricorn, chill out.
Whatever.
I'm gonna need y'all to chill out. It is Cancer season.
Shauna, Teddy, mine is 16. So
the year's not right.
Richard, yeah, my kitchen is green. It's a little bit more green than I wanted it to be. That is a brighter green than I intended it for it to be. But yeah, my kitchen is green.
Wait, Richard said mine was trash.
I heard it wasn't good. I heard the ending was horrible.
Save my $7. Thank you.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Watch it.
I am.
Did you just whisper that to it? Like for real? At least put your hand up. I mean, seriously. God damn.
I watched Escape Room last week.
Okay.
No, it was actually good.
You know what though? But escape rooms are fun. What was that thing that y'all went to that had like the bouncy stuff, but it was for adults? Where did y'all go? I want to go there. That looked like so much fun. I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, the adult, the adult inflatable joint.
Yeah, where was that?
At the Rosebud Raceway joint. They travel around.
So it's not a permanent thing.
It's not a permanent thing. No,
so I'm trying to figure out why I didn't get a call to say, yo, y'all want to come? I don't remember that call. Did you get that call?
I didn't.
Saying, hey, we're going over to the adult inflatable. Y'all want to come and hang out? You didn't get that? Okay, I didn't get that call.
Okay, one, I didn't know I was going.
You never know shit.
Until that day.
Why don't you never know shit? Because I know your wife be telling you.
It was supposed to be a surprise for her birthday.
Oh, okay. So how did you not know? If it was for her birthday.
Because one, I didn't know because it was supposed to be the girls were going to take her.
Oh, it was a girls' trip.
To go.
Girls thing. Okay.
So I tuned out.
After you had girls. That. Okay.
Yeah. So dudes was invited later.
Okay. So
I wasn't the only one, even Don Pablo.
I saw the pictures on Don Pablo. Yeah, I saw that.
All of us, all the guys that were there. We were plus ones at the 11th hour. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
So what are you getting me for my birthday?
What?
He said, what? Here's what's funny, y'all. Okay, we're about to wrap this up. But here's what's funny. So Mink comes into the house today, and Mink says, She says, you know what? For your birthday, I was trying to decide what type of Jack Daniels to get you. She didn't say I was trying to decide if I was going to get you some Jack Daniels. It was what type of Jack Daniels am I going to get you?
Or what am I going to get you for your birthday?
Right.
It was
I said,
whatever it is, it's Jack Daniels.
Right.
My options, 3 options. Jack Daniels, whatever flavor or Craftsman or however you call that stuff out. I saw a flask and I saw some Jack Daniels shotgun glasses. So it was going to be something with Jack.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
Wow.
It wasn't like I need a gift receipt for it. Like,
not you said I don't need a gift receipt.
She's not going to return it.
Wow, I definitely know what I'm getting now.
What you getting me? I'll be shocked. Don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
Right.
Thank you for hanging with us, Regina. Good night, sweet dreams.
Yeah, you have get some rest. Get ready for it. We about to girl. You ain't about to miss nothing. We about to wrap this thing right on up.
Get some.
I'll leave it in the way
like you did the last time. Right, that was so great. That was great. You know the person who like the picture I posted that had put their bottle of what was it 1738 or whatever on top of the Jack. They got mad. They were like, "Oh, I saw you posted it. You got your little Jack." I was like, "Exactly. My Jack's drinkers came through." But anyway. All right, you guys, but thanks for hanging with us. It was a great conversation.
Hey, Michael
you guys.
K. Films.
Oh, Michael, you about to. Oh, hey, Michael K. Films. Yeah, we about to wrap it up.
Michael, subscribe to us. Subscribe.
So much of my son.
Before we leave, I do want to say that thank you so much. We hit another milestone, you guys. We are up to 1,800 subscribers. We are steady. We're moving slow, but we steady. Every day we getting a little bit more and a little bit more. So I thank you guys for all of your all my subscribers, our subscribers, for coming in, commenting, participating, all that great stuff. We appreciate it and we love it. We love it. So thank you guys. And once again, hit another milestone and I was so happy to see it. So we are almost at 2,000. We 200 off from 2,000, y'all.
So tell your co-workers.
Yeah, tell your friends, family, come on over, subscribe, hit that like
grandma
button.
want to listen to bingo now. Come on.
Right. She can listen while she at bingo, Come on, like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. But anyway, y'all have a great day. Mink, go and take us out.
I got so much, but I'm just gonna say the next time somebody try to tell you that Obama was payment for reparations. I can't even say I can't say what I'm thinking. So I'm just gonna say, just look at them, tilt your head to the side, and be like, really, bitch? Oh, punk ass motherfucker. Exactly. Like, for real.
And it's for y'all. Stop talking.